Hey guys, welcome to episode 207 of 4PlayerAnimecast. It is the start of the fall 2022 reviews, and we are here, right here, right smack dab in the middle of episode 2 through 3. I believe most series are at least, they have at least their first episodes out, if not their second and third episodes out. This is actually rare for us because usually we completely screw up the schedule, right? Like you guys remember all the times where we're like, oh, like trying to set up the schedules and DMs, and we're like, oh, none of the anime that we want to watch are out yet. So at least this time we made it in, and part of that is due to the blitz that we had before in the previous weeks with the Cyberpunk sidecast review, our preview show, of course, and then just our extra episode talking about sort of our substitute for our 200th celebration episode, of course, where we talked about the anime that sort of changed how we thought about stuff, how it changed our perspective, potentially changed our lives. So all those are really great episodes, and again, they are available both on Twitch and as well as on YouTube. So please check them out. But yeah, right now we are heading straight into the fall 2022 season. I am your host, Spire, and with me are my compatriots Near,
Hello.
Dark,
Hi.
and Toast. Toast is dead. He is out walking his recorder. But yeah, so
It's
all of
here.
us
What
are
do you
here.
want? What, huh? Is my
Yes,
mic on?
yes,
It should
okay.
be on. All right.
Yes. Okay, so everybody is here today. And let's just get right on to it.
Are your Halloween decorations out yet?
My Halloween decorations are not out yet. I usually don't
What
like
about
doing
your
Halloween
Christmas
decorations.
decorations? Because I went to Home Depot to get.
There's actually like Christmas like stuff already getting set up at my nearby Walmart. It's actually crazy. It's not crazy because it's America and that's usually how it is. You start your Christmas decorations in April and stuff, but it's still
That's because not everyone celebrates Halloween, but a majority will celebrate Christmas. You
that
gotta
is-
think. You gotta think
yeah, you got to
smart.
think ahead. Yeah. Honestly, I like seeing the Christmas stuff early because as I've said multiple times on this show, I really like
You hate
winter
Halloween?
themes.
Damn.
It's not that I hate Halloween, although I don't necessarily go out and I don't respond to people that knock on my door. I don't put out candy. I don't do stuff. I don't do the trick or treating stuff.
What a jerk. What's your
um,
favorite not Halloween anime? Winter anime. Go.
my favorite winter anime? Fuck, that's a good question, actually. Uh,
Mine is Clannad After Story. But if we're talking
Clannad is a
overall, Canon
Clannad Clannad
2006.
Clannad is a good one, but it's not like entirely. You know what I mean? It's like it has the Winterland thing, but it's not really like winter themed
Yeah,
in
that's
a
why I said
sense.
Canon
Golden
2006.
Kamui is the real
Yeah,
answer.
Kenna. You mean Toei Canon? I think is the real
Oh
deal.
no.
Oh no, but
Faces.
yeah. So I don't know. There's not a lot of winter themed anime in particular that I particularly like, but I think maybe the closest one that I know of,
Is it
and I'm
Snow
not even
Halation?
sure if
Don't tell me it's Snow
it's not
Halation.
snow. That's not even an anime.
That's
That's a
not an
song.
It's
anime.
that one
Yeah,
damn song.
yeah. But I would say the only like almost purely winter themed anime that I know of. Oh wait, but Amagami gets pretty close because most of it's like around the winter season, just because it's the whole like thing where the main character is like leading up to his Christmas date. So probably Amagami, but I think one of the only pure winter themed anime that I've seen in my years is like Mashiro Iro Symphony, maybe. But that there's not a
Wow.
lot of like pure.
I mean, I really like that. Oh, but that's an interesting pick.
I didn't say it was a good series. I said that
Hey
was
man,
one of the only winter themed anime that I knew.
I was being pretty serious when I said Golden Kamui. I can't remember a fucking time
Oh, Golden
when we
Kamuy.
weren't in the
Wait, what
snow.
about 2 year? Wait. What is 2 Year Eternity technically a winter themed series? Maybe.
Um, I mean, I think 2 Year Eternity is varied enough to
Yeah,
be not
but Golden Kamuy is a
necessarily.
good pick.
But yeah, it's definitely got like it's definitely got a lot of a good chunk of it is
Yeah,
winter.
yeah. But
Man,
yeah,
I
Golden
really don't
Kamuy is a
remember
good
anything about
pick.
Mashiro Symphony other than the really good opening. Damn.
But yeah, it's a Chocho opening too, right? So yeah,
Exactly.
it's yeah, exactly. But anyways, that is neither here nor there. Sorry for the tangent. Uh, let's start off with our 2 weeks. First off, a brief 2 weeks from you, please. Status report.
While Chainsaw Man came out,
Yeah,
It's
I
alright.
think that's about all we need to say, right?
yeah,
Is it
it's
better than Fire Punch?
Yeah,
here?
no, what we need to say, we need to
Wait,
call
wait.
out the copying and the fucking
Yeah.
We'll also do
plagiarism
that,
of
Yeah.
Chainsaw Man,
We'll also
okay?
Hold
we'll
on.
also be
Doesn't
doing plenty of that in the actual review
Fire
too.
Yeah.
Punch
as well, so-
count as a winter manga? Damn. Could have said that, Spire.
technically, yeah.
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 But yeah, Chainsaw Man came out. So I
Mhm.
watched that, and it was good. Believe it or not, it was
Yeah.
very good.
I think again, I mentioned this to Nier and Dark and the others, but right now the reaction on Twitter, on social media, is around the series is very volatile in the sense that, like, I think baseline, I don't think anybody would debate that. Just as a baseline, Chainsaw Man is a good series, right? But the issue is just because of the nature of anime Twitter, you can't ever just you can't have people agreeing that it's just like, yeah, it's a solid good series to start off with. You always got to have the people who are like, oh my
Well-
god, if Chainsaw goes away, I'm gonna fucking cry. And then
So-
just to quote unquote balance that out, you have the people on the other side that's like, no, nothing about Chainsaw Man is good, and it's like there's no in between. You know
So
what
I don't
mean?
know if you've seen it, because I know,
on
Spire's
Hulu, it's free.
Spire's more sane than I am, and he doesn't really look at any Twitter.
I don't do that much, yeah.
But I don't
Needs to
know if
get into the
you've really
mud.
been seeing it. But there's this very strange rivalry, which I really cannot
Wait, what? Who?
I cannot pin my finger on, like, how it started,
Hold on.
why it's happening, what the reason
Between
could
that and like
possibly be.
Kimetsu no Yaiba,
But
Yaiba, are
so
you talking
there's
about?
this strange rivalry between Chainsaw Man fans and Bleach fans.
Oh yeah. I can
Oh,
explain
it's
that.
because of the
Because Chainsaw
1,000 year.
Man
Because,
It's
Yes,
taking
because-
all
Bleach
the
is coming out.
fucking
Bleach
highlights.
is also
oh
coming
no!
out this
Wait,
season.
near. Before you say that, I'm gonna predict what you're gonna. I'm gonna predict the origin of this conflict. It's because the 1,000 Year War thing is coming out, right? But then
Yeah.
the Bleach fans think that the Chainsaw Man people stole their thunder. Is that right? Am I right?
No.
I have to
Let
assume
me listen
that.
to my explanation. Hold on. My explanation: they're both on Hulu at the same exact time.
That'd be pretty funny too.
That is
I don't-
literally the because I was watching Hulu. I was like, oh hey, Bleach, and then
I don't think
Scroll
people
over,
really care
Chainsaw
that
Man
much
too.
about what platform it's being streamed on.
they do.
But like,
Yeah.
so, like, I could kind of understand the Bleach fans being a bit upset at
Yes.
Chainsaw Man, right? Because Chainsaw Man is hyped up. It's crazy hyped up, right?
Yes.
And like as Spire said, it's absolutely stealing the thunder of Bleach's return, right? Like Bleach is finally
Mhm.
back, yada yada yada. But I really don't understand why Chainsaw Man fans are like really adamantly
Dogpiling?
against
Yeah.
Bleach. Like, it's
I
very
think, I
strange.
think part of that. I think part of that is sort of like. I don't want to be too
I mean, it's sort of like
asshole-ish,
poking
but
the
it's like a
bear, right?
superiority
Because when the
complex. It's like a su-
transformations happen, they both have spiky teeth.
True,
I
true.
think, I
Lines
think
on their
part of
heads.
I think part of it's like
What
a
is-
superiority complex. You know
what
what I mean?
is the Chainsaw
Where-
Man transformation other than going hollow?
True.
Exactly.
where like Chainsaw Man itself, because it's like the issue is Bleach is as much as we might not want to admit it at times, it's like it is a meme in the Western anime community, right? So it's like, oh, Bleach and Naruto and whatever, right? Blah blah blah
What?
blah. blah.
It's
And
One
we're-
Piece, dude. Why? You forgot it's the three. How
What?
dare you? It's Bleach, Naruto, One Piece. It's a trio.
Yeah, One Piece. But it's like the issue with One Piece is everybody loves One Piece, so it's a little bit hard too. But it's like Naruto and like Bleach, and a little bit of One Piece. But it's like I'm saying like in an antagonistic sense, right? And it being targeted sense, right? Naruto, Bleach, what is it like Sword Art Online, right, or some shit like that, right? Like stuff like that have become these like targets, right? So then the Chainsaw Man people are like, oh, at least we're not like the Bleach people, and I think it's that sort of like almost instinctual
What, like women?
superiority complex. Yeah, just
Yes.
like just casual.
That's my
yeah,
only
exactly.
input for Bleach.
Yeah.
That
Just-
I only know
just-
girls who watch it, so
just
Take
that
that.
like casual like cultural. You know what I'm getting at, right? That's sort of like casual, almost like instinctual superiority complex that's created. Although they're all kind of in the mud, right? It's
Yeah.
like it's not, yeah.
But
But
but yeah, that's so that's been happening.
That's
Yeah,
weird.
sure.
I would imagine there was a
So
Yeah,
disconnect
what do
between.
you mean by that? Is it just like Chainsaw Man fans being like, nah, dude, like this is like
This is real anime.
this
This is
ain't
real
your
adult
So-
anime,
ain't your
bro.
daddy shown an
Yeah.
anime.
So if
Yeah.
you
You
if
go watch
This
Bleach.
is the
I mean,
real
bro.
edgy show.
no, so you have to realize this is anti-Twitter, so like they're incapable of like human speech. So if you go under like any sort of like official promotional material for Bleach, you'll see stuff like this mid Chainsaw Man Goat, right?
Oh, the classic.
Because it's like
Yes.
12-year-olds speaking,
Yes.
right? So
Yes. Yes.
but then if you go under any like Chainsaw Man stuff, it'll be like this mid Bleach goated. It's like
Yeah.
So,
so,
so
okay,
it's-
guys. And
so what
then
you're
like
saying
when
is
they like interact with
console
each other,
wars
like
all over again.
it's effectively like Xbox 360 versus PS3 like console wars sort of
Yeah.
discourse where it's literally just like single cell organisms trying to communicate.
Yeah. And there's no
Um,
nuance. There's no like in between. There's no like,
Yeah,
oh,
there's-
we
Like the
could
one
watch
guy
both
replying
things.
to like
Yeah.
every Xbox post, like
Yeah, basically,
PS5
yeah.
better. It's like, bro,
Yeah.
Yeah.
why are
exactly.
you here?
Yeah,
what,
like
Yeah,
what
what the
what
fuck?
year are you from, bro?
What like what are you?
Yeah,
accomplishing?
it's very strange to see in like the modern, the current year, I guess.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's that's been happening. Other than that,
Alright.
I watched Urusei Yatsura, the new one.
Yes, sir.
It's quite good. I think so. The way that's structured is kind of like they're jamming like 2 episodes into one. So they're kind of like split.
Is the full season
And
24 or 12?
so they're going 43 episodes.
43.
Good.
Yeah, so
Wow.
they're doing multiple cores.
It's a best
Um,
of.
Yeah, it's sort of a best of.
Okay.
So they're
Okay.
they're not really like going in order. They're kind of just doing their stories. But the first episode was basically the first 2 episodes of Urusei Yatsura, the original, kind of just to introduce the sort of the characters, the dynamics, and stuff like that. I felt it was really fast. It was pretty breakneck. I think they could maybe slow it down a bit, but we'll see.
Do you think yeah, if they're doing it fast, they're probably not aiming to create extra OVAs either because they're trying to just
Probably
package
not.
everything in. Yeah.
But
Okay, I see.
it's charming. It's good. The voice
Mhm.
cast is top tier.
Mhm.
I can really only think of like very very minor gripes, but that's just because like
And it's not like it
I'm a
has to
huge
connect.
fan.
It-
I'm a huge fan of the original, right? So it's
Yeah. And it's not like they have to connect a huge plot altogether, right? So
yeah,
because
it's
since Urusei Yatsura is more episodic, it's easier to kind of like
yeah,
I
it's
guess
pretty much
do
entirely
that, yeah.
episodic outside of like the beginning and the
Yeah.
ending, right? So,
Exactly.
but yeah,
All right.
other than that, watched a couple sequel stuff, Mob Psycho,
Mhm.
stuff like that.
Yes.
Um,
Good stuff.
this season's really good. It's really good.
This season is more solid or solid in more ways than I expected. Again, outside of Chainsaw Man, like a couple of the other stuff, even some of the isekai series. I mean, obviously, you know me. I'm usually just like, oh, isekai is like there's this like baseline rating, and just put them kind of off to the time out corner. But a lot of these ones, are more decent than I expected, and a lot of these other series are shaping up to be a little bit better than I gave them credit for in the previews.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's good.
Mhm.
But yeah, that's basically my 2 weeks. Just keeping up with the season. Season's good. It's really good. Yeah.
Good stuff. What about you, Toast?
I watched Rick and Morty.
The best anime of all times.
I've been keeping up with the Rick and Morty because it's on Hulu, which, like I said before, coincidentally is also debuting Chainsaw Man and Bleach. I saw Bleach. A whole bunch of nothing happened in the first episode. I guess it's supposed to be a rehash of the characters. Be like, hey, you remember these 5? Is it 5? Chad, Orihime, Ishida, Ichigo. I guess no, that's 4. Do you remember these 4 characters from the human world? They're back, but then nothing happened. They're fighting what is it, the German Nazis? That's what what are they called again? Uh,
I don't know anything
the
about what's
the
going on.
Quincy's.
The
What are they
Quincy's?
called?
Okay. I don't know. I don't know
Bulls.
anything about anything that's been going on in Bleach for a while now. So
Yeah, they're fighting the Nazis, aka the Quincy's. Like that's cool, I guess. I thought Orihime's voice actor sounded different, but I looked it up, but no, it's the same one. So that's weird. I don't know what they did.
okay. Anything
Okay.
else?
Chainsaw Man, it's all right.
Uh,
I like the
right.
power memes. Those are good memes.
All right. And all the dancing memes too. I think on YouTube.
What
Yeah.
dancing means? The sad cat dance? I don't get the sad cat dance. Someone explain it to me.
Huh?
I think it was just from a game.
Yeah.
Really?
I have no idea.
Oh, the sad.
that?
Oh, never mind. I'm thinking of the breakdancing cat.
Yeah, the sad cat dance is the one where like they put the cat ears on or whatever.
Isn't that from Chainsaw Man?
No, I don't think so. Are you talking about like from the Kobeni dance? I don't think she
Yeah.
had cat ears on during that.
I don't know.
I'm pretty
I
sure the
googled
sad
know
cat
your
dance
meme.
is just some weird like Twitter like fucking like OC shit meme, you know? Like
Sad cat dance is a redraw dancing meme trend that is itself an imagining of events that take place within the Chainsaw Man manga. What?
I don't remember there being cat ears.
I don't
But
know. Whatever. That's their. Oh, did you guys know that you have to water concrete for 2 weeks? That sucks.
uh-huh.
I
Is that what you've been doing?
yeah, it sucks. I hate it. 3 to
Wait,
4
you're
times a
watering
day.
what?
You have to water
Concrete.
concrete 3 to 4 times a day to cure it. I was like, I hate it.
What are you curing it of?
I don't know. You cure it like you cure fish, I guess,
Yeah.
or
Oh
pickles.
yeah. No. Yeah. You have to. I guess it's kind of like some like you have to prevent it. Apparently, you have to put water on to prevent it from cracking and kind of like not like shriveling up, but like prevent it from becoming brittle. Probably.
It increases its structural integrity over time. I don't know why. Magic, I guess. Science.
But yeah.
Well,
Anyways,
what else? There's that. What is that one game I've been playing recently? Brave Alchemist Colette. I picked it up recently. Do you know it's pretty topical? Gee, I wonder why. It's all right. I like the other one better though.
is it hasn't been banned yet or anything, right?
What?
Right on
No, why would
Steam.
it be banned?
No, why would it be banned? Why would that be
Yeah.
banned on Steam? That's a porn
Yeah.
game.
That's true.
I'll
Yeah,
you're
dude,
only allowed, you're
straight
not
up.
allowed to have any nuance or adult
Listen,
themes in
dude,
game.
straight
You
up
can only be
pornography does
porn.
not get banned from Steam, but like Japanese visual novels do. So
What? What do you mean?
That's true.
What do you mean? They took it all out in here. That's why you got to buy the. That's why you get the free patch. But
uh-huh.
yeah, I kind of like the other ones better. From I like Treasure Hunter Claire and the other one with the magic girl. Those are better. Brave Alchemist Colette,
Bibliophile.
kind of if.
All
I
right.
also
Well,
watched the anime Brave Alchemist Colette. It's pretty good, I think. Not really. It's pretty subpar. I like the scene with the hero though. That's cool.
pretty good then.
What else? Oh, what's it called? What is that that thing? I did the what's that thing where they dip the thing in sugar and eat it?
What are you talking about?
What?
What? Like Fun Dip?
No,
You're
it's
talking about like
Tang Hulu.
churros?
Thank you. That's the one. I freaking made Tang Hulu because I was lazy. It's all right.
Okay.
It's the one where
Oh, this. Okay. Yes,
you
yes.
dip
I know.
stuff in basically sugar syrup and
Yeah,
harden it.
yeah. It's
So
like instant candied, X, like instant candied fruits kind of thing, essentially.
I mean,
Yeah.
I like the one with strawberries. It's all right.
Yeah, I mean that's the classic one, I think. Yeah. Anything else?
Do you want me to talk about No, no, no. I'm good.
All
That's about it.
right. Well, thank
Uh,
you, Toast. Dark, what about you?
I've been playing a lot of PSO2 NGS. Since they made it even harder to like do anything in JP, I gave up finally and said, you know what? What's like 2,500 hours and like a couple $100 spent, you know?
Tell
And
us
then
about your PSO2 character.
now I'm doing NA. What about my PSO2 character?
Isn't it pretty famous on the NA side? I saw those Reddit
Oh
likes.
yeah, me on the top of Reddit.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, Reddit famous and Twitter banned. Right here. Um, but yeah, the PSO2 sub really likes. I mean, they like casts in general. And because why not? They're robots and they're cool. And yeah, that was pretty fun. I
Speaking of
remade.
Twitter,
I did a decent Rebecca from Cyberpunk in it too, which was pretty cool.
speaking of Twitter,
Yeah,
you should
game's
tell
fun.
us
It's
about
getting there.
Twitter.
Nah, I
The
think I'm
fun
alright.
things happening on Twitter.
We're getting into that. We'll get into callouts anyway. So
Yeah,
All right.
I want to save that for later because I think that's gonna take like another hour.
yeah, I mean, not gonna get too into it, but yeah, yeah. Other than that, kind of just been watching a lot of new stuff. Checked out Chainsaw Man.
Mhm.
Was frankly disgusted that everyone would dare talk up a series that just steals scenes from movies. Really
I
fucked
mean,
up. The only content in Chainsaw Man is stolen scenes from
That's how the
Tarantino
plot goes,
films.
actually. Yeah, they
Actually,
just
is what happens.
the entire
Only
first episode is just Pulp Fiction. It's just
yeah.
if people were mad about that, they should have. That's why I said there should have been the Fire Punch anime first, because there's a whole character
People
dedicated to movies. And
Yeah,
he's
I
like,
mean people are gonna
I
be
only talk about
they're
movies.
gonna fucking shit their pants when they see the Trigun trailer and hear Robert De Niro.
It's Roberto
So
De Niro, different
yeah,
person.
whatever.
Yeah.
Man, what if they
Yeah.
really did cast Robert De Niro in that
But yeah,
position? That'd be
that would be
awesome.
sick. I would absolutely watch that dub. But
But we
but
know what happens to voice actors. Ha ha ha
yeah.
ha.
But so yeah, I've just been watching some of the new stuff. Chainsaw Man was really cool. It was really good. I think it's going to be a pretty uncontested, to be honest, OP of the year. And yeah, so we'll see where that goes. Other than that, I haven't really started too much else other than DIY, which I'll cover later, and just kind of keeping up with like the sequel stuff, like what is it? Uzaki season 2, Irumakun season 3, and yeah, I think that's it so far for now.
All right. Pretty good.
All that's been real neat.
Yeah. For me, I've been pretty quiet. I think I've been getting a little bit more back into VTubers recently, so I've been
Who's your favorite
watching
VTubers, Fire?
Yeah, if you
recently.
if you love VTuber so much, name every VTuber.
Yeah, no,
Name
all
your
of the
favorite
it's
from
like Poke
every
Rap.
major
It's like Poke
company.
Rap but with VTubers.
One
Name all
from
the
every major
VTubers.
company. Go.
What?
One from every major company. I'll give you.
Every major company. I like how you...
I'll just say the three. You know what? I'll make it easier. Three. Your favorite from the three major
Yeah,
companies.
which now also includes Nintendo, and you do need to say Kizunai, and you also do need to bring up Crunchyroll-hime.
Also, if you don't bring up Gura, then you don't really like VTubers.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not sure if I have my memory was never that great, but the only one I'm watching, or not the only one, but it's like the one I really like watching recently is other than Shinsogumi, right, the one that Deep Web Underground founded. I like watching Shitakai
You,
Nora from there. But other
you
than
like?
that,
Aren't they the ones that that happened with Splatoon?
yeah, it's
Is
like one
that
of
the
the members of the
Splatoon?
Splatoon
Nice.
incident. But the one I like wasn't actually involved in that one, which is nice because probably she had a little bit more sense than the rest of them. But that and Mitsuboshi Nanami, who is like a apparently she's an IRL or ex hostess, and then pretty much like every one of her streams is like pretty much just like her telling her stories about like how that shit went down when she was doing her job.
Is that the
But
one that got a tattoo to scare away the yakuza?
yeah, and also she's just like, yeah, the amount of people I've had sex with, it's like what is it? It was like 3 digits or 4 digits. It was like 4 digits, like 3 digits at least, right, or something like that. It's like, yeah,
4 digits
Damn.
is pushing it. Is pushing
yeah, 4 digits is
believability.
probably
Okay.
pushing it. Yeah.
I
That's-
can't. I can't
Um.
believe she's as bad as Why am I? What's her name from Niji Sanji? What's the one that gets a lot of flack that I don't know why? The teacher. I'm blanking.
Teacher. I feel like I know who you're talking about, but I forget. But yeah,
Gundomire. Oh my god. Why did you blank?
oh, Gundomire is like completely different. That's not even in the same league. What the
What?
fuck? Okay.
What? Doesn't she get a lot of flack because of how unfiltered she is? That's why people hate her and want her to graduate.
No, she's never really gotten that much flack, to be honest. It's just like
I don't
people.
know, man.
I
I
mean,
saw people comparing Gundomire to the Splatoon incident. I'm like, where did this come from?
yeah, I mean, Western people are
I mean, the
retarded.
It
Splatoon
wasn't the
incident might
Western
be one
though.
of the dumbest occurrences in like
What?
VTuber
Western people don't know
shit.
about Gundomire. It's on the Japanese side.
Yeah, yes, nobody knows about Niji Sanji. That's true. I apologize to us, but
Oh man,
you know.
speaking of Niji Sanji, there was some fun Chinese drama happening back then. Oh boy.
I didn't want to
When
talk this
isn't
much
there
about
like
VTubers.
Chinese drama with like a fucking VTuber?
It's
Yeah,
okay. This
but
time they're related by association this time,
yeah.
so it's
Anyways,
safe.
I didn't want to talk this much about VTubers, but I was watching a bunch of VTubers recently. That's why I just want to briefly bring it up. But yes,
I mean, I'm still
Yeah,
open for that
not even gonna
VTuber
mention
cast.
Corone. Okay. Okay.
yeah. Anyways,
Yeah, Corone, the
I
Sega mascot, man.
please, I want to move on from VTubers. Okay, look.
Never.
So I had because there was some recent talk about related to what anime changed your life, or like what like how that kind of the setup, the preparation for that, the research that I did for anime that changed my life or perspectives kind of led into like older series and a lot of older like visual novel related series. That led it to like me talking about like visual novel openings and stuff like that with some people, and that eventually led me to me being like, hey, I really like the Fortune Arterial anime opening, but I didn't like the visual novel opening. But I do like the visual novel Fortune Arterial. So I was like nibbling a little bit with the Fortune Arterial visual novel again. Again, never been translated into English, but it is available in Japanese for those of you who can read it and want to go through it. But yeah, I've been nibbling a little bit on there. I've been seeing a lot more of like this like random spurt of like Jolene cosplay on like random places in like the last couple of weeks. I don't know why, but we're not a
Here's a
couple
hot
of weeks.
take.
It was just like last week.
You want a hot take about anime openings?
What?
I like this illusion better than disillusion.
What?
What? No, he
But
doesn't
I
get.
have no
Here, he
idea what
doesn't
you.
get it.
I have no idea what you're
I don't get
referencing.
it either.
Hate opening.
Yeah.
Oh,
I do prefer the Lisa version over the original. That's my hot take.
Okay. But that I haven't been up to too much. Been watching a little bit of the series the other people covered, as well as I want to watch a little bit of Eminence and Shadow pretty quickly or pretty soon.
You mean Overlord Kazuma?
God, the way that like this is one of the many like beefs that I have with like English speaking. I want to say Western, but I'll generalize it a little bit more to
White
like English
people?
speaking anime fans. No, it's not even white people. It's just like
It's-
English
Actually, no, yeah,
speaking
that's not
anime fans.
fair
Yeah,
because
it's not fair. Yeah, it's actually not fair.
it's
But
a
it's like
lot of non-Japanese fans.
I want
Really.
to. Yeah,
It's
exactly.
even
So
yeah.
extends
English
to like
speaking.
the
I'll
CE area.
generalize it to English speaking, right? So it's like they can never think about anything like once they've seen some thing like some anime that they like, right? And it doesn't have to necessarily always be like Naruto or Bleach. It can be something like I don't know, Kuroshitsuji or on Host Club or like Jujutsu Kaisen or whatever it is, right? It's like they've seen something, and now from that moment on, everything else, every other anime, every other concept related to anime, everything has to be framed within that thing or like has to be spoken about. And like they use
Well,
anime
Overlord
series.
created skeletons,
Yeah,
and it
it's like
created like harem fantasy party thing. You know?
yeah, like there, like we do this plenty of times, right? Like even within our podcast, we're like, oh, so that's kind of similar to XYZ series to kind of make sense. But it's like they're also like a lot of time we try to delve a little bit deeper into the series, or like we try to create a basic description of the series that works in a general literary sense. But so many of these fans keep being like, whatever they see, it always has to be linked to some other series. It's like, oh, so that's a Sword Art Online kind of thing, right? Or like, oh, that's like an Overlord, but then you mix it with a Konosuba, right? And then like, oh, that's like Oregairu, or like Oreimo, but then it's like my what is it, the rascal bunny girl senpai or whatever the fuck it is, right? The whatever it is.
Yeah,
It's
dude,
like
it's
it's
like
like
a
bunny girl
fine wine
senpai.
taster. Okay?
Yeah, it's like a bunny girl senpai, but like with Anohana, right? It's
I'm,
like
I'm getting
no.
hints of Anohana in here.
Yeah, I'm getting hits of Anohana with a little bit of Clana. It's like, just can you guys stop? Like, stop describing shit like that. It's so
But
stupid.
I love describing
Uh,
stuff like that. Don't you love that? I love combining what is it? Shaolin soccer with Inazuma 11.
yeah, exactly. It's like
Combine
Data
with a
Live,
little
but
bit of
then Neptunia, bro. It's like, what the fuck are you talking about?
Spire. Do you prefer Data Live or Neptunia? Well, there's only one correct answer.
Anime? Are you talking about anime or what? Are
No.
you talking about just general
No,
franchise?
IPs.
Yes. And
IP?
only IP answers here.
I mean, I don't think Data Live is much of a franchise compared to Neptunia. Like,
I don't know,
Neptunia
man.
is a pretty
There's
big
actually more.
franchise.
There's actually more Data Live games than Neptunia by now.
Probably in like side story kind of random
Are there? There's
stuff.
like 8 trillion Neptunia side games.
If we're gonna include all the
I,
other side
I
content,
think
sure.
I think the side content is in game. Like, there's not so many Data Live games. There's like 3 or 4, right? Because it's like it has like the side, like it's not Data Bullet, but it's like the Mana, whatever it is, like the side
Red
spin-offs.
Utopia
But
and
then
all that. Yeah.
yeah. It's like the 3 or 4, and then the real bulk of the Data Live side story stuff is all the different fucking novels it has, like the side story novels. And you're like, okay, why are there more Data Live side story novels than there are main novels? But that is neither here nor there.
Answer the
But yeah,
question,
that's
Spire. What do you like better?
the main. Or are you talking? What are you talking about? I don't know.
Which
I don't know how
which
deep in the rabbit hole.
which franchise is superior? Who would win in a fight?
Um, Neptunio would probably win in the fight.
No, it
But
wouldn't.
anyways, yeah. So that was my
You
two
know, it's
weeks.
weird how Neptunia's kind of faded away, even though there was that one VTuber crossover. You'd think it'd be more prolific, but
I
no.
don't think the VTuber. I mean,
They would
it
have
had
made
nothing
great
to.
VTubers, Fire. You know it. Everyone knows it.
Yes, but I mean,
I mean, they're kind of just letting the series fade
yeah,
into obscurity. Like,
yeah,
what
It
can you
was
and
it
do?
it's
was
like,
ahead of its time.
and it kind of like once it hit its peak, like the people in charge didn't really know what to do with it, in my opinion. It's kind of like how with like Kankole, right? It's like it hit its stride, and then people were like, okay,
Well,
well,
maybe
yeah,
if
we're gonna
Conclave
make
wasn't
money, and then kind of stopped.
if Conclave wasn't so ethnocentric, we could have gotten something.
So imperialistic, you mean? Yeah. Anyways,
I mean, that's
that
why
was my
Ezra
2
Lane
weeks.
took it over. It's like, hey, we like America, and everyone's like, damn, you're in.
Anyways, that was my 2 weeks, and let's just start off quickly. I guess I'm going first here, just because I have, in my opinion, one of the more shallow slash episodic series. And I'm going to start off with management of novice alchemist. I believe that is, yeah, management of a novice alchemist. That is the localized title. What a what a title it is. It is a light novel original. The original Japanese title is Shinmai Renkinjutsushi no Tenpo Keiei. So plot summary here.
Renkinjutsu? Wow. Is that related to the
Renkinjutsu.
Hagane no Renkinjutsu?
Yes, perhaps they are. So Orphan Sarasa just graduated from the Royal Alchemist Academy, and that means her longed-for life of elegance and riches is close at hand. As a graduation gift, her teacher gifts her a house to set up shop, but Sarasa's dilapidated new digs are beyond far-flung. The novice alchemist is stuck in the middle of nowhere with a business to run and supplies to gather from a very dangerous natural world. Whether it's facing down frightening fantasy creatures or finding creative ways to attract customers, Sarasa has her work cut out for her as she achieves her dream of becoming the greatest alchemist around. So I believe this is 12 episodes, full series, full, episodes. It's not like a short or anything like that. It is done by Engi Productions, who mainly does in betweens and assistants. They're usually like the sub or contractors or the subcontractors. But they did help out with let's see this. They did recently they did The Detective Is Already Dead, right? With the mystery, like the siesta, the white hair girl that like died or whatever. They did Full Dive,
Wow,
which
spoiler.
is the VR death game thing, I think, if I remember correctly.
You mean
They
Sal?
did yeah, Sal. Kemono Michi Rise Up, and some other stuff, yeah. Oh, they also do Usaki-chan, right? Yes. So yeah, they've done a couple of stuff recently. Hey, friends, Yuri Bait in it. What is? Yeah. I mean, that's like management of Novice Alchemist in like one other series, right? I think.
So,
There's
so let
not.
me.
Yes. Go on.
So, all right. Oh, continue.
Um, I was just gonna cover real quick. There's most of the voice actress stuff is uh pretty not like new blood necessarily, but it's like people that haven't been hitting the limelight too much. There's like some supporting characters. I mean, Koshimizu Ami, voiced by Koshimizu Ami, Saiga Mitsuki, Onishi Saori, stuff like that. But a lot of the main characters, especially the main alchemist and Sarasa Ford, is voiced by Takao Kanon and some of the others people who again haven't been necessarily A-listers recently. A lot of the main directors, producers are pretty much I want to say veterans. Like they're all pretty much big, pretty much multi-year like veterans for the most part.
All right, Spider. So
The
here's the real question: does this
Yes,
count as isekai,
that's a good question.
or is it not? Is it not isekai? Because this feels
It's
like it would
it's
fall into the isekai genre, but does it?
It's the same isekai in my opinion, and again, I have to be a little bit careful on how I describe this. In my opinion, it's the same sort of variant as what was the anime with the defense, the high defense point girl?
Ofuri?
Uh, yeah,
Really?
it's the same idea as something like a Bofuri, right?
Really? Because
Or like
I
the
would have
black
said that
healer or whatever.
I would have said it's more on the lines of something like Majo no Tabi Tabi, where it's not really an isekai, but it's isekai adjacent in a way.
Yeah, I
Because
mean, yeah. I mean, we're essentially talking about the same thing. Essentially, you would describe it as isekai adjacent, and my
because it
I would
has
have
it's
yes,
an isekai like setting, but
yes,
the tropes are not
yeah,
isekai at all.
yes. We're essentially talking about the same thing. I
Yeah.
think your you're saying, as long as it doesn't actually have the isekai, it's not an isekai, which is reasonable to say. What I'm saying when I refer to it kind of casually as an isekai, it's technically wrong. But what I'm saying when I refer to it, and Toast sort of knows what I'm talking about, is like it's like the general idea of like this person, we're seeing them kind of get dropped in the middle of this like sort of this main character is being used as a power fantasy vessel within a high fantasy, feudal fantasy setting, and they're kind of just going around doing whatever they want. And that's the reason why I sometimes say that this is an isekai, although I do again agree with Toast that it's technically a wrong labeling. The reason why I sometimes say that this is an isekai, I just kind of casually say that, is because they're all in the same spirit, right? A lot of the points, a lot of the reasoning, a lot of the reason why these sorts of like shousetsu ni naro, these fan fiction, web novels, light novels of isekais are made, is to have that, is to indulge in that power fantasy, is to set up that high fantasy, feudal fantasy setting, and then just be like, oh, this main character can do whatever. I'll do this soleil farming, or I'll have this adventure go on, kill everything, or whatever it is. And that's the whole point of the isekai. And so, in that spirit,
Something else that would
management,
be on that spirit would be what is it? Banished from the heroes party, I guess. That
yeah,
would be another good
absolutely,
example.
yes,
And I
yes,
guess
exactly.
what is it?
Peter
Max
Grill,
level slime
Peter
girl.
Grill
Peter
is
Girl's not
also
an isekai. I would no, I wouldn't call that as an isekai. He doesn't do
Mhm.
isekai things. He just likes women. And I would say, what
That's
is it?
pretty
Max
isekai
level
if you ask
slime,
me.
2,000 years? Sure. But he doesn't have slaves. Not yet.
That's
Yeah, not
true.
yet.
That is
Not
very
yet,
isekai as well.
but yeah, so it's similar to that, but a lot more similar to some of the series people might have seen recently. With regards to, you have this girl that's working, whether it's an alchemist or like a magician or whatever, and she's just making stuff, and then along the way there's episode. It's very episodic, right? She, maintains her place, her room, or her shop, I guess in this instance, and then she goes on adventures, or defeats the monster, or does whatever, right? And that's the general flow of the entire thing. But the important thing here, or the important, I guess, nuance here, is that, and I was kind of thinking this as I was watching, is that when you see these series, right? These sorts of isekai series, and even within the isekai series, something like a Bofuri, or like Akiyaku Reijo, or like something like an Otome game stuff, or whatever it is, right?
How does it compare to the other Alchemist anime, though?
What are you talking about? Are you talking
Talking
about
about, there's that fucking Isekai drugstore. I hated that one. Is it better than that?
Isekai Dark? So yeah, that's not. I think you can. It's much more similar to Isekai Yakyoku. And you can really tell like this person, or the writer behind this person, is an RPG nerd. Like you can
Good.
immediately tell with these series like which ones are just like uh made by authors that just kind of like stuff like Sword Art Online, or just want to create this like feudal power fantasy stuff, and which people are like the real fucking like, I'm going to spend 30 hours on the stat sheet, like RPG
I
nerds.
love
Because
stat sheets.
the first half of episode 1, right, is her kind of setting up to become a proper alchemist, because initially she's a student, and then she needs to pass all these alchemist academy tests to become an alchemist, right? And usually in a regular sort of power fantasy isekai, what you would have is maybe, I want to say, 7 to like, not even 7 minutes, like maybe like, yeah, 3 to 7 minutes at most, or something like that. Maybe yeah, definitely like 5 minutes ish, right? Of something, of the alchemist, of the female alchemist just being like, oh, I'll just mix all this together, and I study hard so I can do this. And people would be like, wow, you are such a great alchemist. And then boom, she passes, right? And then the rest of the episode would be about, her setting up shop, or getting into mishaps, or whatever it is, right? No, this series, exactly half, and I think even more than half of episode 1 is about her preparing and taking the actual test to do the alchemist stuff.
I
And it's not
love
just like,
studying.
yeah, and it's not just like, oh yeah, I'm a hard worker, but blah blah blah. It's not even about her. It's specifically about like what she needs to know about alchemy. Like, oh, I need to apply this magic power here. Oh, I need to take these herbs and mix them together. If I don't have this herb, then my mentor told me I had to do this. And you could tell by the level of sort of inorganic world building. Like when I say inorganic world building, I just mean like the stuff that's like the laws of the world defined. Um, the items, the way things are sort of in the world, right? Like the laws and the currency, or like the magical rules, so on, right? Stuff like stuff that people like fate nerds would be very like enthused about. Stuff like that are just like all laid out in turn, and that's that sort of thing continues on throughout the entire 2 episodes, even as they're kind of fleshing out a little bit of the characters. Like the main character is not like the main character is given a personality, and the main character is kind of going out and kind of like meeting all these people and helping to establish the cast at a foundational level. But there's not that much like introspection and retrospection, like, oh, because I have this personality, or because I have this philosophy, or because I'm a blah 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 kind of person, I'm gonna have to do this. No, most of like the series is kind of based around her, the alchemist, and like the related like supporting cast kind of going around and interacting with the world, right? So she gets to her old shop, right? And she's cleaning up stuff, and she's just like, oh, there's like this was cheap. This house was cheap, but there's a cauldron here that they just left out. So this is more than a bargain. Or it's like, or she's like, oh, this building is dirty, but there should be a magic core around here somewhere, where if I put my magic power into the core, then it's like a cleaning core. It's like it'll clean the entire house for me. And then there's like a security core. So it's like you can see that the author is like putting in these aspects, like these static inorganic aspects of the world, to build this idea of like all the things around him, right? And the level of the level of like specificity, or not level of specificity and detail, and like thinking about how a world like this would operate, again, like the cleaning core, the cleaning magic core, the security magic core, and then like this couple, like 1 or 2 minutes about how you know the government subsidized some cheaper shops because they're stuck out in the boonies, or whatever it is, stuff like that. You can really tell the author is a full on just like world building dungeon master level like nerd. And it's great. I'm not saying that's wrong. It's great. And I think it's a refreshing change of pace, because there's been a lot of more just like kind of in general, oh yeah, I'm an adventurer, I just go on adventures, and I'm an isekai powerful isekai man kind of thing. There's been a lot of those series, so it's a refreshing change of pace to see a much more static world building perspective series that kind of just fleshes out everything and focuses on, again, the world of where Sarasa, the main character, is living in, how that world develops, what she's doing when she's talking about alchemy and doing her shop stuff, how her friends and how her friends take on her on adventures, how that adds to like the alchemy stuff, so on. I do like that sort of level of detail, and I do think it's a much more refreshing perspective. And if you are interested in that sort of, not necessarily interested, but if you're sort of into that deal where um you like hearing a little bit more about fleshing out of the world, and it's not just like elf village, Oh
I love
yes,
Elf
like
Village.
yeah, exactly. It's like dwarf slaves or like
Jesus.
beast girls or like whatever it is, like the standard like isekai power, the feudal fantasy stuff, the high fantasy stuff that you read lately. You know, if you want a little bit more detail beyond that, and if you want to focus on the episodic world building, then I would definitely recommend this. But yeah, it's
So
pretty.
Spire.
Yeah.
So Spire between this, Rune's Pharmacy, and Brave Alchemist Colette, which one is the best pharmacy anime?
Stop bringing up Rune's Pharmacy, bro.
I see Niers watch Rune's Pharmacy because
I
those
would-
are
I
the
would prob-
those are the big three that I
Bitch.
know of.
I
The
played
big
Rune's
three?
Pharmacy, okay?
The
Like,
quote unquote big three.
I
I
mean,
would probably recommend this the most.
all right, just making sure because
Yeah.
there might be some people that might have mistaken this series for something else, like I did.
Yeah.
'Cause I saw the first episode of Brave Alchemist Colette, and I was like, wait a minute, this is the wrong kind of alchemy.
But yeah, that's pretty much all I had. It's pretty episodic in nature, but I do really appreciate the refreshing change of pace. It's not like this is the first series that's done something like this or taken this bent, but it's a refreshing change of pace to have again. So that's pretty much all I had about Management of a Novice Alchemist. Again, Shinmai Renkinjutsushi no Tenpo Keiei, right? And if you want to check this out, again, it has a little bit more in-depth static world, inorganic static world building than a lot of other series out there recently. Then please do check it out. All right. So, speaking of stuff that's a little bit more episodic, Nier, you want to cover a certain series. we actually talked about swapping out series for a bit, but
yeah. So I watched trying to not butcher this. Mushikaburi-hime. Also known
yes,
as Bibliophile Princess.
yes,
This is the Madhouse series.
yeah. This is actually the Madhouse series. Surprise.
Yeah, for the season. Just an interesting choice. This is a romance shoujo series.
Mhm.
And boy, is it a shoujo series.
Does it
so
have shoujo in it? Yes.
yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
So there are 2 episodes out for this, and the basic premise is Eliana Bernstein
Mhm.
is basically she's a huge book nerd. I forget what exactly her royal lineage is, but regardless, like she's a royal, and she's a big book nerd, and I'm trying to pronounce the Prince Christopher Selkirk Asherold.
Christopher Selkirk Asherold. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, if you couldn't tell, this is a shoujo series. There you go.
They're
he
also like
basically
most of them are all also blonde, by the way. So
yes,
just
of course. Within like the first minute of this series, Prince Christopher asks Eliana to be his fiance, effectively for a like a political marriage kind of deal, and in order to I guess entice her to agree to it, he basically says like, yeah, you don't really have to do anything, like there's no like court responsibilities or anything. And also you'll have free access to like the royal archives, which is basically a big ass library. And she's like, okay, sure. And then pretty much after that, episode 1, pretty much immediately goes into just like a pretty big time skip, in a sort of general montage of her reading a shitload of books, having minor interactions with all the other characters throughout the castle. Some of the guards, some of the maids and stuff like that. And 4 years go by, and they're still not married.
wait, between episode 1 and episode 2.
In episode 1, 4 years
Okay,
go
okay,
by.
yeah. Quick time
Um,
skip. All right, okay.
Yeah, it just in episode 1, 4 years go by. And then around near uh, around about the end of episode 1, I guess, this other character comes in, named Irene, and she's, I guess, this other princess, right, or royal or whatever, and she is very clearly vying for, you know, um, Christopher's hand in marriage, right? Like she's
Yes.
obviously gunning for him. And then Eliana sees this, and we do the standard shoujo stuff of, she sees this, starts to have doubts of, am I deserving of being this, like, essentially, I believe the series calls it a phony fiance, where it's kind of like they're obviously not married yet, even though it's 4 years
Yeah.
in. They're very likely using each other for political gains, stuff like that. And yet she still finds herself, having some semblance of feelings for the prince.
Mhm.
And of course she gets jealous, and then, some stuff happens. And then in episode 2, as the princess is sort of moping around, she comes across one of the guards. He gives her a bunch of books to like return to the library because she's on her way there.
Yes.
And as she's on her way there, she finds Irene, and Irene pretends to fall down the stairs, right? And as the prince comes along, she blames it on Eliana, right?
Mhm.
And in most shoujo series, right, this would be where the princess, like the main character, is sort of, it's sort of her fall from grace, and then she has to sort of win the prince back, right?
Yeah, it's like 20 more chapters at least.
Yeah.
For the arc to resolve. Yes.
However, in this series,
Yes.
it does a bit of a twist where Eliana's hands are filled with books as this is happening, right? And
Okay,
so
okay.
the prince sees that, and he basically goes, "You're a fucking liar, right? Like you're fucking lying." And as this is happening, one of the other characters, who's named Alan, Irene sort of kind of goes like, "You saw it happen, right? You saw it happen. Like you're with me, right?" And Alan's like, "No."
Hey, fuck you, buddy. Yeah, exactly.
No. I know I told you I was with you, but I'm not. And then it's sort of revealed that Irene was plotting to assassinate Eliana, and the sort of like the bits where the prince was sort of like um being all friendly and goody goody with Irene were basically him sort of getting close to her and making her like feel like comfortable or whatever. Essentially, they were just waiting for her to slip up, right? So Irene gets arrested, and then pretty much after that, it's basically just a
Smooth
romance
sailing.
series. It's just a
After
straight,
that,
it's just straight romance. So
I mean, obviously there'll
That sounds
probably be other.
kind of cool.
There'll probably there'll probably be other hurdles like every like
yeah, of
3 or
course,
4
I'm sure
episodes.
there will
Yeah,
be other.
every 3 or 4 episodes. But
Yeah, I mean
I
it's
think
it's a shoujo series, right? So there will
yeah.
definitely be.
My question is though. So I, I might end up describing this a little bit poorly, but from so usually with stuff like romance that's usually seen in this format, right? That's aimed for shoujo audiences, right? Or
Yep.
shoujo for audiences that look at shoujo magazines, right? Um, there's like a sort of defined momentum within the plot of there's a defined momentum within the relationship, within the plot. So what I mean by that is usually it's something like the girl. Most of the plot is usually the girl is chasing the guy, or the most of the plot is like the guy is chasing the girl, or in some cases it's like it's kind of like a scramble for like kind of everything. While there's like another like subplot going on, usually some sort of like drama or thriller or like competition at an academy or whatever it is. And the middle of that, like there are these like love dodecahedrons kind of going on and stuff like that. There's like some sort of momentum or scramble or whatever going on, right? In these sorts of series.
Yeah.
So can you tell me what sort of that is there sort of a general defined like momentum or like relationship bias? It's like is one chasing the other? Or is the author trying to create like this scramble like love dodecahedron all the time? Like what's going on here?
So from what I can gather, the early sort of, I guess, conflict is sort of like an inner conflict within the main character Eliana, right? And her sort of thing is kind of like, well, you know, the fiance thing is sort of initially proposed to her as sort of just a transactional sort of relationship, right? Like
Yeah.
he gets
But
to
he really understands me kind of thing going on, right?
yeah, like he gets to sort of say that, oh well, I have a fiance, so he doesn't need to deal with the suitors kind of stuff.
Uh-huh.
And she gets access to the library, right? And she doesn't need to deal with like courtly duties and whatnot.
Yeah. But
And then
he
as it
also
goes
seems to
on,
understand her. Yeah, exactly.
yeah, as it goes on, she finds herself, sort of falling in love with him, and then, she sort of is asking herself like, do I deserve to be here, kind of thing, right? Like, is this like, you know, is this a legitimate relationship kind of thing or not?
Because I'm just like leeching off of him kind of thing.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then as episode 2 ends, it's very obviously that, um, the prince is in love with the princess, or at least that's
Oh,
how it.
but then the plot is like they're kind of like not talking past each other, but they don't see that the other person loves them as well. And then like the
I
extension
think
of the
so,
plot
yeah.
is that. Yeah, okay.
I think it's setting up sort of.
All right.
Well, it's also like the prince he's pretty schemy, right? With the whole
Yes.
like uncovering the assassination plot. So I'm not sure if if they might go for maybe the prince isn't all he seems to be kind of thing, or
Oh, he might
you know,
have some weird like backstory
Yeah,
that
he's
creates
a
some sort of
prince, but he's
conflict
also a
later.
spy, but he's also an assassin.
yeah,
He's also the Duke. Yeah.
Yeah,
and
But,
he's
he's also the
a
king.
psychopath.
He's also a
the
dark
queen,
lord.
but it's yeah, exactly. But yeah, I think I see where you're going with this, where it's like part of it's like excuse me. Part of it's like they'll probably save a little bit of the prince backstory for later, where they need to create a little bit of conflict and be like, "What? He hid this from me all along when he shouldn't have,"
Yeah.
or something like that. He'll save a little bit of that, but then like I think the majority of the plot, from what you're implying, is that like they both like each other, but they don't see it, and then like 99% of sort of the episode time or episode will be spent on kind of like not them like talking past each other, but it's like, oh, I wish like I really like him, but it's like, oh, like I wonder if we can ever have a proper relationship. And then they're kind of like, kind of talking past each other, right? They're introspecting past each other.
Yeah, I think because so the way episode 2 sort of ends off is kind of like the prince is like, so as they arrest Irene, right? There's this huge crowd of nobles, right? And the prince decides to, I guess publicly declare that, he wants to marry Eliana. And the reason he waited so long is because not only there was the plot against her life, but also, a lot of the nobles, I guess, didn't necessarily agree with like the engagement or whatever. And then like this event sort of won over like, uh I guess the content of Eliana's character and how like, because I guess Irene was spreading rumors or whatever, and then Irene being outed as a fucking liar, sort of won them over, right? And so he announces, he wants to marry her. Everyone claps, and then it sort of shows the scene where it's like, ever since then, like I've been in love with you kind of thing, and it's sort of just like a flashback to where the prince and Eliana were kids or whatever.
Right, exactly.
And so the way I see it sort of playing out is like the prince is obviously in love with Eliana, right? But the way I see it, the sort of, I guess, like conflict or like, essentially Shoujo's version of just dragging the chapters out is
Yes.
Eliana being sort of insecure in sort of like her place in sort of the whole royal court and, does she really
Yeah.
love the prince? Does she not? Kind of deal.
Yeah.
I think it'll be
Is
a
she
bit.
is she just in it for the books or like
Yeah,
that
I
stuff,
think it'll
right?
be
Yeah,
a bit of back and forth with stuff like that.
uh-huh.
But outside of that, it does seem like a pretty straight romance.
Uh-huh.
Again, it is a shoujo series. Like it's very shoujo. It's very
Yes.
very shoujo. There are sparkles everywhere.
Have they
They
kissed yet?
they have not kissed yet.
So it's gonna take like 173 episodes.
Probably, yeah,
or,
probably.
Yeah, that's gonna
chapters,
happen in the last episode. It's gonna fade to black before you see it, though.
Yeah, probably. But or it's gonna cover the screen in roses.
But
Or something.
who's
it's gonna cover the
here?
screen. There's gonna be a time skip to where they already have the baby, and it's
yeah.
Near, who's
But,
your favorite?
I mean, there's like 3 characters, bro.
Oh, then
so which
you
is your
got-
favorite, dear?
Top 3, go.
I mean,
That time?
Eliana, Christopher, and honestly, Alan. Like he's based.
Ah, okay.
Fucking
Right.
fuck gaslighters. He's based. But yeah, it's pretty. I mean, it's a shoujo series, right? Like if you
Mhm.
like shoujo, if you like sparkles and really bright colors and sparkly eyes and blonde princes and with ruffled necktie things, like I mean, it's what more
Wait,
can you
did you
ask for, right?
watch? Because I don't think you usually watch shoujo series, right? Were you the one that reviewed One Week Friends? Because I know one of us reviewed it, right?
I don't think
Shogun?
I don't think I've ever reviewed it, but I have watched it. Yes,
Yeah,
I
one
do.
of us definitely reviewed it.
I do
Okay,
like
yeah.
One Week Friends quite a bit.
Yeah. I know like at least one of us between you, me, and Toast, one of us reviewed it for sure.
Yeah,
but
I'm not like a so I'm not like a shoujo expert. Like I'm not really
Yeah.
out here like watching every shoujo that comes across,
Yeah,
but in terms of like the stereotypical like shoujo aesthetic of like sparkles and sparkling roses and sparkling light shafts and sparkling boys and stuff like that, I'm a big sucker for it. I don't know why. I think it's because I was a huge Sailor Moon fan as a kid.
okay.
And Sailor Moon is not, to be fair, Sailor Moon is not really a shoujo. Like it's a shoujo with shonen. Like it's a thinly veiled shonen, right? Like
That's fair. 'cause-
but yeah, I really do love the like very stereotypical shoujo aesthetic. And I mean this seems solid, right? Like it's Studio Madhouse. It looks pretty good. Obviously, it's a romance series, so there's not really like any standout animation sequences or anything, but the backgrounds are good. Characters are all very shiny, very sparkly. The hair is done very well. Eliana
Yeah, I
has
mean
very
that's
like
like one of the sort of pride and joy, right, of a shoujo
yeah,
series,
yeah.
right? Having that very wavy proper
Yeah.
hair, right?
And
And Madhouse does it very well.
the hair is done quite well. It's generally pretty. They've done a pretty good job.
Mhm.
I feel like the this is a manga original, right? So I feel like, or no, light novel original. And I feel like the light novel's art is a bit more muted color-wise and a bit more wispy, ethereal. I'm not really sure what the word would be, but it would have been it would have been interesting to see them sort of try to adapt that a little bit more faithfully, in a more like a storybook kind of thing.
But this sort of like palette change is pretty standard for
Yeah,
like,
it's standard, but
novel or manga.
it's it's solid, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. I I don't think I really have much else to say. It's solid, right? If you like shoujo
Yeah.
series, I think this is definitely a good one to pick up. I feel like you don't get too many like just raw shoujo series too
Or
often anymore.
straightforward formulas like this, because I think, like it's kind of like a reflexive kind of thing, right? Because
Yeah.
so many of these have been made that it's become already like a cultural kind of meme, right? So people kind of are trying to stay away from it in a sense.
Yeah.
But it's like
Um,
it's not that like this can be done okay in a vacuum. It's just like you obviously have to treat it with kid gloves, right?
yeah. Yeah, I think it's overall solid. It's worth checking out.
Okay.
Yeah.
Pretty good. Pretty good. Thank you very much. And moving on here, Toast, what do you have
What?
for us today?
You like JoJo? I
No.
love JoJo.
Spire
And
hates
the
JoJo.
JoJo related. Yeah, I
Inspired.
hate JoJo.
Inspired, name your favorite JoJo.
My favorite JoJo?
His favorite is Giorno.
Really? Is it JoJo? That's
No,
weird.
it's not JoJo.
You don't seem like a JoJo person to me, Spire.
I am definitely not.
Then who's your favorite?
I mean,
Don't say. You would
Jonathan,
find.
because it's like yeah, I've said before, I like my favorite one is season
Yeah,
one.
I like
It's like
people who die in
it
5
fires.
seconds.
Yeah,
Honestly,
it fires.
people that say like Jonathan is their favorite Joestar are like,
Insane
I don't
and
know.
they eat people. It's weird.
I mean, they're definitely
Uh,
they're insane
One
for
for one.
sure, but it's kind of respectable where it's like season 1 of JoJo's is so like, I don't know, it's so much like a product of its time. Like it's
Yeah.
kind of like an
Yeah.
outlier of the entire series. So
yeah.
I mean, this guy
Yeah,
has.
it was
What do you
made and then
consider season 1? That's the real question.
I mean, part
Do you
1,
consider
right?
it
Part
part 1?
part one,
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Well,
This
because
guy, he can.
Netflix calls part 1 and 2 season 1.
Well,
because
technically,
it's like
part one and two are wrapped into season 1, but
Yeah.
most people will just say when they refer to like season 1, they'll just refer to part 1.
yeah, but it's like
This guy
yeah,
doesn't
I
like
agree with
Joseph.
Nier
What a
where it's like
liar!
JoJo is like season one or part one happened, and then like they moved away from it to such an
Yeah.
extent in like all the other parts that it's like part one isn't even really like it's much
Well,
more alien to
I mean,
like
part one has this really weird aesthetic to it, right? Well, I'm not gonna get too into this, but part one has this weird aesthetic where it's very, very, very heavily influenced by Fist of the North Star, obviously, right?
Oh yeah,
But
absolutely.
it's
Yeah.
obviously still extremely unique, right?
Yeah.
But then immediately after part one, and you go into part two, JoJo sort of comes into its own, and then part one is sort of left in this weird, like state where
like
it's this heavily inspired and influenced like aesthetic,
yes.
but
Yeah.
it stands on its own in its own series. It's very strange.
You can see it as the start of JoJo, but it's definitely like like there's a lot of like kind of again like as you said Fist of the North Star kind of like older series kind
Yeah.
of like Senseiya whatever kind of those sorts of vibes coming from it for sure. Yeah.
But Spire, do you prefer stands or Hamon? Because you said you don't. Because don't talk to me. Don't say you like. Continue.
I definitely prefer Hamon. I mean, it should be obvious if I prefer part one, but yeah.
You're not a real JoJo fan if you haven't gone to at least part 2, Spire. Then tell him. Then say if you still like Jonathan or not.
Okay.
Anyway, where was I going? Oh yeah.
Anyways, you were talking about your series, which is
So there's this prison called Blue Lock, which is just like the Green Dolphin Street prison in a JoJo's Bizarre Adventure Stone Ocean, where they lock 300 dudes in there, and only one can survive.
So
but
Toast is covering
that's
Blue Lock.
Blue Lock.
here.
All right, I should start from the beginning, I guess. I just wanted to talk about JoJo and call you out. Anyway, so the main character is Isagi something. I don't remember. The series starts off with him and his team playing in the prefectural tournament, and this is the last chance to get in there, and whoever wins this goes to nationals, and he's up against Japan's rising star Kira something, on the other team.
Mhm.
So he's going towards the goal, and one of his teammates says, pass the ball to me. And then Sagi's all like, if I pass to him, we might be able to score, but I want to win. I want to score this goal. But then he
Mhm.
remembers his coach's teachings, like, all for all and all for one. Isn't that Three Musketeers?
Yeah.
Right?
Yes.
Or I'm sorry, people nowadays don't know Three Musketeers. I should say it's from My Hero Academia.
Yeah.
Because there's the quirk all for one and then one for
Yes.
all. Yeah.
I realize what you're referring to. Yes.
So yeah, he passes it to the teammate, and then his teammate misses the shot, and they lose. The main character is like, "Damn, I should have taken the shot. You suck." And then he's all regretful, and then he gets invited to Blue Lock, and Blue Lock's whole thing is they take I guess they took 300 dudes from promising teams, and like, what's the guy's
Okay.
name? I don't know. What's the weirdo guy? Jim Pache Ego. His name is Jim Pache Ego. That's the name of the guy, the director behind Blue Lock.
Yeah,
And he
Jinpachi
goes
Eagle.
and he goes around saying like, I'm going to create Japan's #1 striker by basically playing a death game where you're all ranked 1 to 300, and every time like the lowest ranking dude will drop out.
Mhm.
It's like and then everyone's like, oh, but soccer's a team sport and whatever. We got to play as a team, and then Ego's like, no, you don't, you idiot. All the top football players say they're the best. All the top football players say they're the best, They're the best player around, and you won't survive in nationals with that mindset. And this weak mindset of Japan trying to, become, being all about the team and not about themselves is why they never won a World Cup or whatever, compared to the other countries,
Mhm.
something like that. That's pretty much it. So yeah, since this is there's only one episode out that I saw. The first death game
I
they
think
played.
2 came out like just today or like
Damn it, I
yesterday or
didn't watch
something
that
like
one.
that. Yeah.
Yeah, the first. I'll just spoil the first episode. It's pretty cool. The first episode came out today, and he's in his group of 11 because they're
Mhm.
separated from A to Z. So 11 teams. Is it 11 teams? No, there's 11 players on a soccer team. So I guess 26 times 11, whatever you want, because they're A to Z. So he's on Team Z. He's stuck
Mhm.
in a group with his 11 roommates, and then the first game is a game of tag. They
Yes.
got like 136 seconds for some weird ass number.
Damn,
And
dude,
it's like,
that's just like Squid Game.
Some amount of time where before it runs
and
out and whoever's it. Yeah.
it's like, yeah, the lowest ranking person is it, and you gotta pass the ball to someone, tag them in order to not be it, and whoever's it gets
Yeah, initially
out.
they give the ball to the lowest ranked person. That person is it, and he has to tag another player before the time is up, and with the ball. So he has to like kick the ball. He can't use his hands. He has to kick the ball like in regular soccer, I guess. But he has to hit somebody with that ball, and then whoever gets hit with the ball is it, and whoever is it when time runs out is out.
Isn't
And
that
by out,
illegal in soccer?
To hit the other person, yes,
Yeah,
but
can't you
you know
just
this
like
is
anime
anime, so.
purposefully like take shots? I
but
was
the
gonna say
point, but
This is
I don't think
anime,
it's
so.
Yeah,
I
but
don't
this
think it's
is
illegal
badass and
play.
fucking
This is
cool soccer,
badass.
dude.
Oh, by the way,
That's
all of
crazy.
all the animations and stuff like that, all like the shooting, like like when they're kicking and stuff like that, are all like it's not like full Prince of Tennis, but it's like it's kind of like Critical in the Basket kind of stuff. So
it's Inazuma 11.
yeah,
Yeah, I mean, I
just say
assume
that.
it's
yeah,
like
yeah.
Kurika, like, because
But yeah,
considering,
Inazuma,
the
Kuroko
character
kind of
has like
stuff. Yeah,
fucking Sans eye in the poster. Like,
yeah, exactly.
that's it. Yeah, I mean that's the he gets his Sans blue flame eye when he gets serious, when he's in the
yeah, so
zone.
it's like, yeah,
It's like,
yeah, so literally like Kuriko no basket. Okay,
yeah,
okay.
and some some fun things happen in that game of tag. I kind of don't want to spoil it. It's pretty cool. But yeah, it's literally it.
Yeah, it's
it's
still
a story about some dude saying that Japan sucks, and you want to make the strongest team by instead of the all for one or the one for all mindset, and they want the all for one, where if you want to be the best team, the best striker specifically in Japan, you gotta kill everyone in your way, literally. Well, not literally, but the
yes.
thing is,
Yeah.
apparently, if you get kicked out of Blue Lock, you're banned from joining any team in Japan.
No,
Or I guess that
you won't ever be in consideration for the Japan national team. Is how I think
that's
they put it.
basically the same thing, though. It's
It's
like, why are
basically
you?
death.
I don't know. I don't think that's not the same thing.
That's
Fire,
the
they're
Exactly.
trying to
same thing as
Please.
death, Spire. Okay.
Yeah.
Fire. They're all trying to go for nationals. That's their mindset
Yeah.
is, and if you want to go for nationals, that means they want to go for the national team. And if you get kicked out here, then your
Yeah,
life as a
taking that
soccer player is
nationals
over.
aspiration from a soccer player, Spire, is like
But
taking
it's
water
not. But
from
it's
a
not
fish.
being banned
Okay.
from every team in Japan. I think that's a little bit
Yes,
different.
yes, it is, Fire. That basically is. And the
You get
only way
banned from baseball too.
the only way I can see them circumventing this is if one of them like goes to another country.
Well,
So I mean,
I don't think
that might
I
be
don't think the
that might be
part
a twist.
after they get kicked out is relevant. But
I don't know, Spy. I think the player that got kicked out from episode one, that might be their way of getting revenge, because I see a revenge arc coming up in the near future. That happens.
well,
But, uh,
in terms of the overall, I mean, the from what I see, mentioned this to you before the podcast started, is I actually, you know me, I'm usually a huge hater of like these death games and stuff like
I
that.
love
But
death games though.
yeah, but
Comparison.
I personally like this format a decent amount more because usually when death games happen, the punishment is in the title, right? It's like death usually, right? So usually anime writers are pretty bad at writing these scenes because it's just like you're facing death, and obviously these writers have pretty much have never had experience facing death, right? So because of that, it's a lot of the it's kind of like the usual stereotypical fight or flight. Oh, I'm gonna save my daughters and oh blah, 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 blah. And it's just like
Hey,
these extreme emotions going on or whatever. But the idea of just getting kicked out, the just like simple abject failure kind of level of what happens when you get eliminated from Blue Lock, which is again you get kicked from the selection and you never are able to compete or allowed to try out for the Japan national team ever again. That sort of failure, I think the author is much more um, closely related to, is able to empathize more with. And so I like this fail condition a lot better because then it allows the author to be
I
like,
don't know, Spire.
you don't think it's
They should have made it heavier. Like, if you lose in
they
Blue
should have
Lock,
killed them? Yeah.
no, well, if not kill them, we're gonna cut your Achilles tendon or something, so you can't ever play
Yeah,
soccer in
we're gonna
general.
fucking rip your limbs off, dude.
Yeah. For not being able to play soccer. Fuck you. Yeah,
Why
exactly.
not?
It's
Why
like
not?
it's like they fail the penalty kick and still like a guilty comes down and just chops their leg off. It's like you don't deserve this leg. But
I
so
mean, there's some
what
dudes who can play. Well, I mean, there's hand soccer, right? Or disability soccer where you play on the wheelchairs? Damn, they should
uh
cut off
it's
an
probably
arm
some
too.
sort of like Paralympics kind of thing. But so the general idea from what I saw, right, is the whole. I mean, it's relatively standard, right? It's a format of the death game where the initial thing is like you have to, if you want to be good, if you want to beat all the others and survive, you have to be ruthless and you have to kind of just look out for number one and you just have to do whatever. That's how it is in this world. It's how it is in this cruel world. Blah blah blah. And then that it's a conflict between that and then the main character being like, oh, I want to be the best, but like, how far do I really want to push this? How cruel do I really want to be? That's sort of like the conflict, right? Um, Do you think the setup? Do you like the setup
I
for,
like this setup.
or
It's a
do you like
lot
the
better than
personalities like spread, like the different like character personalities
compared to
that
the other
in this?
garbage soccer/football series I've covered. This is by
Mhm.
far the best one, and it
Okay,
did not
yeah.
let down my expectations. It's literally all the other soccer or all the other sports mangas
Mhm.
were all just made into one.
Right, right,
Like you
right.
got the same stuff. You got the weirdos. Everyone in here is a weirdo because they picked the
Yeah.
300 best from Japan or whatever. You got to
Mhm.
be a weirdo if they're picked for this project. And yeah,
Yeah.
I
I
don't know.
think I think I
I
think
we
the
haven't
interesting thing
really.
is,
All
yeah.
we've gotten is like the cast of Team Z or whatever, and they're all somewhat unique.
Yeah.
Don't ask me to name them all because I won't remember their names, but I remember their faces.
Yeah. I think this whole like uh, one thing right now, I don't know what it is exactly, but I do like the sort of a little bit, you know how there's like a slightly lighter comedic tone kind of continually running through it, even like at like a serious moments, stuff like that. There's like the whole like, even like there's parts where the main character, right? His name is like Isagi, right? Isagi has to,
Just Isagi, whatever.
yeah, has to face this like trolley problem, right? Like, am I going to really kind of like just do anything I can to become number one? I'm just gonna kick people while they're down
He
just to
should.
climb up to the top, or am I really gonna embody the idea of competition? Am I really going to try to take down the number one because I am a true competitor and not just like a scumbag or whatever it is? That, and that's part of this whole like thematic conflict that's in the plot, right? Uh, so I still do like the comedic undercurrent that's running under all of this during that sort of idea, but I'm not. I think that sort of comedic undercurrent. Hopefully, I'm hoping. I haven't read the manga yet, but I'm hoping that stays a strong undercurrent and maybe even just becomes a much more like side like pillar, because I'm not confident. Like I obviously like if this whole, I'm a true competitor. I'm not like Machiavellian like you guys. I'm not cruel and like a scumbag like you guys in the end. If that sort of thing gets pushed, I'm not that big a fan of it. Even in this sort of like revised death game format. But um and that combined with the fact that I think these days, like with this sort of like theme where it's like, oh, the real world isn't like fucking soft Japan, bro. I know you guys soft Japan people are all, about the teamwork thing and, being honorable competitors, but this is the real world. And I think it's very like Japanese people kind of blowing smoke up their own asses, being like, oh, Japan is a nation of honorable teamwork and honorable warriors and stuff like that. And it's like, it's not that's not why you guys are losing in like competition stuff, bro. Like, let's be honest here. It's just because you guys haven't developed talent. It's like, and
That's why Blue Lock exists. They're going to develop that talent, Spire.
yeah, but it's like
You gotta call the weak.
Ego Jinpachi kind of
I like that guy.
represents. Yeah, I like the guy too, but it's like he represents the obvious like foreign. He is essentially the enemy, the in Shaolin Soccer, right? The people that took like the American drugs, the American steroids or whatever, right? He is literally them. That is what Ego Jinpachi is designed to be. He is the whole like, I'm going. You guys should obviously do anything to win. Are you guys stupid? Are you guys trying to be honorable warriors? What are you guys, idiots? And he's obviously being set up as that role. And again,
Good.
I think, yeah, it's pretty obvious, right? Like it's the whole like ego is the whole. You guys should obviously do anything to win. You're stupid, right? You guys should take steroids or do whatever it takes. Um, and he's being set up for that role. And the contrast again is um Isagi, and I'm assuming again I haven't read the manga that the other guy Kira, right? Kira is his name, right? The white haired dude. Kira is gonna probably undergo some sort of transformation, right? Where it's like he he starts off as this like nice dude, but then later on he becomes corrupted or something like that, and then at the very end he becomes um he reforms due to Isagi teaching him the true spirit of the competitor or something like that. That's probably my guess as to how the general plot is going to run out, because that's how these predictable plots run. But I sometimes I kind of roll my eyes when authors tell stories like this, because it's like the very like, oh, we're honorable Japanese warriors. We embody the true spirit of the competitor, unlike you people who just do like scumbag stuff, anything to win. And I'm like, if you guys, like, I don't know, it's if you guys really want to push this, sure, but it's not gonna be great. So
He
that's
kind
my
of
guess.
he
As
kind of remind me. He kind of reminds me of that dude from Eye Shield. What's his name? The guy voiced by King of Braves. What's that
I forget.
guy?
Did it?
Yoichi Hiruma? Yeah, him. You know, where he's got the win at any cost
Oh yes,
mindset.
yes,
Yeah,
yes, yes, yes. Okay,
good. Because
but yeah.
this is what I like about a sports series. You added with a death game. Hell yeah, I love death games. I
Do you like
love
the
Squid Game.
you know how it's like in the um do you like the format that they're trying to push, where they're like, you know how it's like in the It game, like spoilers ahead obviously. um he was given the trolley problem, right? The main character was given the trolley problem, where it's like you can kick the guy while he's down, or you can continue on or do something else, right? You can essentially sacrifice yourself, right? And he essentially decided to quote unquote sacrifice himself, or like, get somebody else, try to hit somebody else instead of kicking the guy who's down, right? Do you like how that resolved? Do you
Yes,
think it was do you think it
because
was an okay setup for
the
this?
main character's got that crazy eye, right? His Sans eye.
Yes,
Because it
yes,
showed
yes.
him though, he had the mindset to do anything he wanted to win. Like
Right, right. The
he
spirit of
knew
competitor,
he
right, or
had
whatever.
the notion of taking the shot and not passing it,
Hmm.
to let to be competitive, but instead he passed it to his friend or his
Hmm.
teammate who missed because he's a piece of shit. And so he's regretting that, and then it gets brought up in this one. He's like, I have a competitive spirit. I need to do what it takes to win. Like I'm not
Right, not
gonna
just kick
stomp
people who's
on.
down.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm gonna
Okay.
I'm gonna jump into the fire and win the way
Right.
I want
Win
to
fair
win.
and square. Right, exactly. Against the number one.
Yeah.
Yeah. That was an interesting way to kind of soften the blow, I think, because I thought for a second that Blue Lock was gonna delay that until like episode 4 or 8 or 10 or 11. You know what I mean? You get what I'm saying, right? Because like I thought initially like they were just gonna let that play out, and like they were just gonna kick the guy who's down, and then it's like, oh, this is how cruel it is. And then like episode 10 or episode 11 or episode 12, they're gonna be like, no. In the end, I'm a true competitor, and I thought they were gonna delay that until the end, but they showed it like right away in like episode 1 and 2, which is nice. So that was interesting.
But yeah. What else? Studio. Oh, we forgot to mention Studio 8-bit. I don't know who's 8-bit. 8-bit's the guys who made Slime Tensei. Uh, what else? Knights and Magic.
Oh,
Grisaya.
I forgot it. Nice and Maddie. Yeah, exactly.
Whatever other stuff. Oh, Rewrite second season. I love Rewrite. Yeah, 8-bit's a decent studio. Whatever.
Mhm.
It's also I also saw the name Bandai Namco at the beginning. So what's up with that?
I think
They're
that's just probably a
probably just
sponsor.
producing it, right?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. They're
Bandai
probably
Spirits,
one of
right?
the sponsors. Yeah.
Sure. Yeah. Fine. The opening is. I don't remember the opening. Was there an opening? I don't think I watched the opening. Unison Square
There,
Garden though.
yeah, there was an opening.
But yeah. Overall, definitely what I wanted in all the sports mangas or the sports anime that I've been reviewing all this time.
Okay.
I want high stakes death games in my sports
Bias.
anime. I
Okay.
want tournament arcs that are not boring, and this is definitely not boring so far.
Yeah, for sure. It's a little. I mean, making it a death game obviously makes it a little bit more like. It's an interest. It's a slightly interesting twist for sure. And I like the fail conditions a lot more than just people dying. But it's pretty interesting, and it's surprising coming from me again, not being the biggest fan of death games in general. So yeah. Any
And
last words?
I mean, would I recommend it? Sure, hell yeah, I'll highly recommend it. It's not
Yeah.
it hasn't disappointed me at all. I want to see more. I want to see more killings. Cut that guy's leg off. I don't know,
Okay.
because when they were playing when we were playing tag, they were pretty brutal. That one dude was
Yeah, they
kicking
were
people in the
like
face.
like if the soccer ball was becoming like rays of light, be like just like and like yeah, kicking each other, like doing like the capoeira like handstand kind of thing,
The
just like
only
kicking them
rule was
together.
no hands allowed, just like in soccer. So that one dude started kicking people
Yeah, that
and
guy's like the psychopath.
holding him back. I was like, that's cool. Yeah, do more
Yeah.
of that. So
All right.
yeah, I'll rate this an 8,
Okay.
8.5 out of 10. Definitely check
8.5.
it out if you like the old school shonen sports manga and
Mm-hmm.
not like underlying boys love tones that have been prevalent in other stuff.
Boys like
Like
that.
oh what, Yuri Garden, Yuri Garden,
Yuri
Yuri
on
on
Ice. You
Ice.
didn't.
I'm
Yeah,
thinking
you
it's
didn't appreciate the Yuri on Ice toast.
eh, like if it was just cool figure skating, that'd be cool. But no, no,
Yeah.
nah.
Yeah.
What else?
Honestly, the beginning of the first episode, again, I say this multiple times, but the beginning of the first episode for Yuri on Ice, where they really showed like the harsh realities and like mental pressures of like competing, was nice. But then they just became like weird afterwards.
Did I cover Aoashi? I don't think I did, right? Did I?
You did not, I believe.
I don't
You
remember.
no, no, you did shoot Go to the Future. You did not do
Oh, yeah,
Awashi.
shoot is okay. And then that one about indoor soccer. What's
Kabaddi?
it called? No, Kabaddi,
No.
futsal boys. Man,
Futsal Boys,
Scrooge
yes.
boys suck. Kabaddi's good. I like Kabaddi. Kabaddi gives me the same vibes as this one because
Oh,
that's
okay, okay, that's
pretty.
interesting.
I like my hot-blooded sports manga. Shoot is close, but this one's definitely something more akin to my tastes.
Okay.
But yeah, the other one is apparently Aoashi. I don't. Apparently, if I didn't review it, I'm like, I don't remember what I review.
Mm.
If Aoashi is probably the opposite of this. Maybe I'll have to check it out later, but this is definitely more something my style. So check out Blue Lock if you can. It's definitely not disappointed. It's not it doesn't disappoint.
All
All
right.
the hype where I'm like all the hype where I was like, I wish this. Apparently, I hope Blue Lock is better. When I was reviewing the other ones, well, good. Check this one out.
All right.
See them kill each other with soccer balls,
All right. Thank you
like
very
the movie
much.
Dodgeball, I guess.
Yeah. All right. Well, let's just wrap it up then. Again, thank you, Toast, for your review of Blue Lock. Again, uh, manga original sports series adapted by 8-bit. So please do check it out if you want to see an interesting mix between this and kind of like the death game variants.
Who
And
cares? Who cares
last but
about the team? I'm the only important person. I want to win.
yeah.
If you like that mindset, I do. Then yeah, check it out.
All right. Well, again, thank you, Toast. And moving on now to our last review. Dark, what do you have for us?
I have Do It Yourself.
Yep.
No, I don't want to.
Yeah.
Do it yourself. It is by it is a manga original, right? It is a
I believe. No, it is an
manga.
original
Oh,
um,
okay. So it is an anime original by Pine Jam.
by Pine Jam. Yeah, which I'm not surprised about because of the, you know. But
So Pine
yeah,
Jam previously did, I believe they did Gamers before. And they
Wow.
did Gamers, they did a little bit of Gleipnir, I think. They
yeah,
did
Gleipnir, just because they did Tawa.
it just be Yeah, just because
anime.
just because Kawa are the two sort of like related ones, right?
The most
Kawa was
recent is
great.
Kageki Shoujo, which visually
Oh,
was
okay,
very
okay.
nice. And just in
Mhm.
general was pretty good. Just I had small
Yeah, I
gripes with
mean,
it.
in it when Pine Jam is making these sorts of like quieter series, I think they shine. I think they shine very much. So yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
And,
So go on.
so yeah, this is an anime original. And it's about what you would expect. It's
Is it
girls in a
about TikTok?
club doing things, but it's about
How much?
DIY projects.
How much is
Yes.
TikTok involved in this? Because TikTok loves their DIY.
Nothing so far. But so
I'm sure they'll probably
so
have it
the
on their
show
channel.
is like primarily, well, not primarily. So one of the like sort of like undertones, pretty overt things about the show is it's more of like it's a very blatant sort of like new versus old. Um, in the sense of like the DIY projects are the very it's hands-on, it's a human-made craft, and the world for this series is sort of the near future in a sense, with household like assistants, self-driving like cars, self-driving buses,
Oh no!
Yeah.
drone delivery, stuff like that. And they make that very clear very quickly within like the first shot of the show. There's like Amazon drones essentially delivering packages.
Yeah, it's interesting because it's like a mild futurism or of sorts. It's not like a full like cyberpunk, just like whatever. Like we're gonna hack into whatever, but it's
Yeah,
just
it's a
like
very
yeah,
real, like this is realistically what's going to happen, and like
and, like
how are you going to function around that? The
yeah,
first
exactly.
episode poses, I think it's the first episode, might be the second, um, poses the question of essentially like when you don't have to do anything anymore, what are you going to do?
I think that's
Um,
second episode because that was
yeah,
when Putin was like, "I'm going to make the industrial revolution and AI, and like then
yeah,
none of us
the
will have to
fourth
do." Yeah,
industrial
exactly.
revolution, like no
Yeah,
one's going to have
exactly.
to do anything anymore.
Yeah.
Um, which yeah, so our main character, we have we have a lot of mains. We have like 5 main characters, 6 actually, because they're all in the club. But our main
Although they're
character,
not, although there's not like a super, what I will say is like, and this is not to like really insult the series, but it's like there's not like like ridiculous amounts of like development and introspection. It's kind of like the characters kind of are there, and then the rest of the series is about kind of like the DIY theme
yeah,
and kind of what goes on. Yeah.
yeah, and there's some certain parts that seem to be like, at least so far, like character archetypes hints of like what is this like a DIY project like offering for them,
Mhm.
right? So I guess just as as a baseline, like we open with our two main characters essentially that we're going to be introduced to first, which is Miku Suride, uh, or Purin
Yeah.
as the other character calls her. Our true main of Yua Serufu. Um, very very subtle with her naming,
Yeah.
but
Yourself, right? Exactly. And
yeah,
also,
literally.
I don't know whether this is also meant to be a reference for Miku as well, but Suri, this is the kanji is different with for her name, but it's like Suri is also the word for printing, as in like like ink stamping kind of print,
Oh, that's
kind of sort of
probably. I
print
mean,
kind of
that
stuff.
probably
And
that very
Suri,
much probably is
so
right.
yeah, Suri de is like with something printing, right? With a printing mechanism or something like that. So yeah.
Yeah, and yeah, so we have that open with so Miku is essentially she's into, obviously she's into the robotics. She's into the
Yeah.
um,
She's the prim genius of
yeah.
the cast.
Yeah, and so they make it clear too, where even her home is like a super modern, a super modern home. She has like an AI companion jellyfish guy,
Mhm.
uh, that like moves around her house.
Yeah.
And then right next door is Yua's house, which is a like traditional Japanese house, like tile roofing. Um, and she has, a dog, a cat, and a like piglet as pets.
Mhm. Right.
So like right off the bat, they very much like throw it in your face of here is like the clash between these two lifestyles.
Right, exactly. And like
Um,
philosophies too, because it's like Suride, or Purin is the nickname that Yua uses to call her, or is like she stays up until like 2 a.m. to design the latest scientific breakthroughs, like of like the blood vessels
yeah,
that could save lives
she
or
made like an
whatever. Yeah,
artificial like valve and everything like that.
yeah.
Um,
Well, Yua is just like dreaming. He's just like,
yeah, you is
like
daydreaming about like
yeah,
new projects and stuff like that,
yeah,
or just like fantasy scenarios. And yeah, so it kind of jumps from that to them getting into new schools, Suride, that are also right next to each other, and also one is traditional, one is like, the hyper modern, like almost like college-ish type school.
Mhm.
Um, but right in between the two is a shed for the DIY club. Um,
Right.
and so that there's just like a happenstance of like Yua's bike breaks down and the leader girl Ray just arbitrarily fixes it on the side of the road. Yua realizes, oh wow, like people like know how to do these things, and it kind of just goes from there with them doing small DIY projects and needing to recruit 5 members in order to secure their like club status.
Right, exactly.
Um, From there, I'm not sure if there's like a whole lot else to say about the series in that
Yeah,
regard, as far as like plot wise.
yeah.
Other
So
than
what I would
that, I think the important things to cover, I was going to say, is like definitely audio visuals. I think are really good. I think
Mhm.
that the style is really unique. I think the like flatter shading is quite nice in a lot of scenes with like very harder shadows in certain areas. I very much like the fact that they do I wouldn't, would you call it like watercolor or like pastel, like, or what are
I
those called? Those like are they pastels, like the very oily type, like
yeah,
crayon? They're not crayons. They're like very soft oil like based things to like cover and like color and smear on like a canvas or paper.
I think they do call them like oil
Oil
pastels or
pastels, yeah,
something like
oil
that.
pastel, yeah.
Yeah.
So during like daydream sections, it very much transitions to, at least background wise, into
Yeah.
that sort of appearance.
I was
And it's
actually pretty
usually
amazed.
with Setafu like dreaming about, what could their next DIY project be or mean.
Yeah, I was actually pretty amazed because like in the middle of it, I actually asked just because of like the quality of some of the animations, like compared to what I expected from this series, right? I actually in the middle of it asked Dark, wait, who's what's the studio behind this? Like, and how much money did they get? Because usually in these sorts, especially in these sorts of slower series, right, where let alone not having any action scenes, you don't really get much like need for animation in general, right? Not that much need for like there's like the fixing stuff, but beyond that, when they're like moving to school or doing general things, right? There are these like general like dialogue scenes, right? Um, with these sorts of series, you're lucky if they're animating their mouths like more than once per second. You know what I mean? But like these do it yourself had pretty good animations. I
Yeah,
was very surprised. Yeah.
especially with his expressions. I think they're they're having like a lot of fun with sort of the pet characters, whether it be the house like jellyfish robot thing or the like
Right.
pets of the cat, dog, and pig. Super
Mhm.
stylized, like definitely works as so far as like for them especially to do simpler motions, but
Mhm.
make them sort of look more dynamic than they kind of are, or like say like complex or like finesse sort of,
Mhm.
which I think was really neat. And just like the world of series and like the depiction of it, I think is really interesting and really nice, and does remind me of something akin to Azakin in a way.
Mhm.
I think just because it's like, we have girls in a club like doing something, but how can we use the world in a way essentially like not only like spice things up, whether it be through environment and visuals, but also in a way of like telling this story, sort of making it a little bit deeper. Like it's not like it's like a huge like deep series, but
Yes.
what can we
Yes.
what can we do to like pose more of a question of like, again, like what would you do when you have nothing, like when you don't need to do any.
Right. So I was actually thinking quite a lot about like why this series, appealed to me, right? As opposed to something like and I always point this out and I kind of feel sorry for it becoming a punching bag, but it is. And Nier knows why. But Tamayura, right? And I always use something like Tamayura or like even something like Tamako Market as a punching bag, just because it is an example of a slice of life series that made me go full Xanax, right? But
Bro, don't remind me.
Episode one actually
Nier,
did make I did fall asleep during
yeah,
episode one.
Nier is
Dude,
already falling asleep, like just hearing
I
about hearing the
watched
name.
I watched that whole ass show, dude. I don't know.
I did
I don't
too.
know
I
how you did
watched
that.
both
I got
Tamayura
the
and Talco Market.
I
I
literally
watched the fucking Talco Market movie. Don't even talk to me
Dude,
about that shit.
dude, Tamako Market is like fucking John Wick compared to Tamayura. Like,
Yeah, that is true. Tamayura is like so like Tamayura, you're just like, am I dreaming or am I just like so
yeah,
sleepy? I think
you're
I'm
like
dreaming while watching this.
you're really watching Tamayura and you're like, people made this. Like, this is a storyboard.
Yeah,
Like,
exactly. Somebody was actually paid to make a storyboard, and it just ended up being this. But
that shit's wild.
yeah. So I was actually thinking quite a lot about this and how to like logically, consciously delineate the difference between again a little bit more boring series like Tamayura and something like this. And the thing I sort of came to, the conclusion I came to was each of these characters, it's like the difference in priority of like how the characters and like everything is inserted. And what I mean by that is like each of these characters have like their personalities, right? It's like they have enough of like a distinct personality where you're like, oh, it's like this character and they're gonna do this and like they're gonna interact in this way and it's gonna be fun, right? So they have these like sort of not like bare bones, but they have these like characteristics, right? But do it yourself specifically doesn't really go super deeply into any of these characters, right? Like you have these introspections by Yua Serufu, right? But they're not further explorations of her character, if that makes sense. You know what I mean? It's
No,
like
they're
it's
very
about the things in the day. It's
yeah,
about the
and
things in the
it's
day. Yeah.
also a very like it's almost like a pragmatic approach, I would say, in the
Yeah,
sense
yeah,
of it's using the characters to be like, like what could someone get out of, like a
yeah.
DIY? Like
Yeah,
what could
the characters
someone
set up. Yeah. The
yeah,
characters
more
set
so
up
than
for the
like,
theme.
like what could you potentially get from DIY?
Yeah,
And
yeah,
you're
exactly.
not someone who is walking around and is like, yeah, like 3 years ago, my mother was fucking crushed by a stained glass painting that
Right.
someone made. And now to this day, I will never allow
Yeah,
like
it's
a
not like a deep
DIY
exploration of the
project.
lore. Yeah, exactly,
Yeah,
exactly.
of like
Um,
how are these characters like broken and DIY will help
yeah.
them. It's like
It's actually
what's her name?
pretty funny because
Like
like
Takumin's whole thing by the end of episode 2 is like she enjoys she enjoys the satisfaction of finishing something, and then the possibility of someone else being like, hey, that looks really nice. And it's like something as simple as that is what essentially is driving her now to join the club.
Yeah. She still has a character, but it's like, as you said, it's like these like decent like characteristics are all kind of, in my opinion, they're giving the series room to breathe, or not room to breathe, but it's like it's giving room for the authors to kind of gestate and mull upon and flesh out the idea again, as you said, of the DIY stuff, as well as the theme of the day, so to say, between whatever like kind of Suride Miku pudding is kind of setting up, is kind of putting in front of Yua, and how Yua and her cast decide to kind of just do the DIY project of the day and kind of generally respond to the theme at hand. So the focus is on the DIY trivia. The focus is on the DIY theme and kind of just like how it feels, right, to do DIY with your hands, like with your own bare hands. And it's still made interesting by the fact that the characters are actually interacting in a unique way and they all have their unique personalities, but none of them, as you said again, none of them are just kind of going through this like weird character crisis, and they're not trying to take away the limelight. The limelight is always on the DIY projects and themes. So
Yeah, and I think that also shows through in the fact that Miku is very much like a more, what would you call it, like tsundere type character to
she's like, no,
Yua.
there's a very specific. So it's like in Little Witch Academia, it would be like Diana Cavendish, and in Yuru Yuri, it would be something like Ayano, right? Like you said kind of like tsundere kind of comes in, and it's like she wants to be part of the group, but it's like she's acting like tsundere, and it's like she's
Yeah.
supposed to be the obvious like cheesy, and I say specifically cheesy antagonist, quote unquote, to whatever is going on with the rest of the
And
cast, right?
while she is an antagonist, I think I mean, if it's
And
not
I say
clear to
quote
anyone,
unquote antagonist. Yeah.
if
Yeah.
it's not clear,
Yeah.
well, first of all, she joins the club at some point. Like, we
Yeah.
definitely know that
Yeah.
from the
Yeah.
art. But also, like, I think what should be clear by the time that they have a few flashbacks between Yua being horribly maimed and injured while trying to do DIY projects as a child, which I thought was also a really funny, what was it, like construction paper, like cutouts, like scene
Yeah,
transition for that.
That scene was cute with the like wood panels.
It's like a
Yeah.
slash across her hand. Yeah,
Yeah,
exactly.
so like that, like I thought that was really neat. But I mean, it should be clear that the whole, Putin going to this school and dropping the line of, I'm going to do these things so that like people don't need to do anything anymore, is literally so that Yua doesn't get hurt.
Yeah.
So that
And
she
she was
doesn't
angry at the
need to
beginning.
do anything.
Yeah, and she was angry at the beginning that she didn't get into the same school as her and everything. So
Yeah,
it's,
and it was
it's
like,
the
well,
whole
yeah, now she can't look out for her.
Yeah, exactly.
So yeah, like I think there are like, like they're not, like it's not like these huge like deep character moments, but there is like intent there. There is like, there are character motivations
There are
there.
proper interactions.
Yeah,
It's not just like,
but they're
oh,
not
whatever. Yeah.
like, this isn't a drama series where we're gonna get, direct introspection of like
The secret to
what.
you as care crayon eating. The secret.
Yeah, yeah, it's like
the true secret behind.
Yeah, it's like why why did she eat all those crayons? Like
Yeah,
what's the
exactly.
deal with that?
Speaking of
Like,
eating crayons, what's the deal with what is it? The crayon grilled cheese sandwich? Is that what it is?
What?
Christ. Yeah, I know what he's talking about. Like
The
Christ
rainbow
grilled
cheese. You're talking about the rainbow cheese grilled sandwich or
No,
whatever
I
it
think
is.
he's
Yeah.
talking about a
No.
grilled cheese sandwich with crayons in it.
And
That's
thumbtacks.
Okay,
exactly what he's talking about.
that would be different. Yeah.
It's like
you
NyQuil
know,
chicken. That's a little
Yeah.
DIY project.
you don't know this part of
Yeah, don't do that.
the crayon grilled cheese with thumbtacks.
Yeah, I don't know about that, but
But yeah, so
anyway,
can't believe you
I
don't
think
watch The
I
Simpsons.
think all of that has been good. I think the OST has been really fun.
Yeah.
I think it has had some really just like fun music. And trying to think of what. Yeah, there's just like small bits and stuff in the series that have been like just cute and fun too. Like their like Yua and her mom are literally eating pork dishes every single night, and the pig like pet is
They
always
have a
like in
pet
a corner
pig. Yeah, exactly.
cowering. Yeah, a pet pig named Meat. So
Yeah.
I think uh I think that's been like there's just small bits like that that have been really fun. Has a really cute ED, a fine OP,
Yeah.
with a fun song, but nothing like crazy. But I think the ED is really cozy.
I think overall, like this series, it's like the formula and everything else, like the entire structure seems regular, but it's like there's a bunch of details in it, like a bunch of like tweaks and like details and bonus additions in it that just like elevate the series to
Yeah, and
like
it's
solid
especially like
level.
and I think using it as like using a lot of these things as sort of like a spice to literally bring out,
Yes.
to sort of like amplify like girls in a club like doing stuff is
Yes.
really
Yes.
good. And I think between this series and between like Eizouken, like that should be looked at. How can you
Yeah.
take this concept and how can you put it
Yeah.
in whether it be like a world or an art style or something
Mhm.
to bring that out more.
Right. And it's just like a proof of concept that, the whole like girls in club thing, again, much like a lot of the other sort of archetypes, right? Are, they are neutral in a vacuum. They are just, concepts in a vacuum. And they don't necessarily always have to be, the hated Moe Blob series or whatever. They can be made in a way that it's palatable and appealing to everyone. Again, much like Azuka and much like something like Do It Yourself. So, yeah. Anyways,
I
any
can't
last
believe.
words? Oh, yeah. Sorry, Toast. Go
No,
on.
Dark, continue. You got.
No, no, no.
I want to. I want the last word on this. Go ahead,
Okay.
Dark. Go ahead, Dark.
Yeah,
On Dark's review,
it's
I'll have the
yeah.
last word.
Yeah. So,
yeah, so this is I don't know, it's fun. It's got a lot of I know at least Yua's voice actress is pretty much a complete newcomer.
mhm. Yeah. She's pretty freaking new on the scene. Ichino Sakana is not like a super veterans, but it's like she's had a decent number of roles by this time. Same with Aki Azumi. Takahashi Karin is famous for playing Morikubo Nono in Idolmaster Cinderella Girls. Sakura Ayane, Ino Kikuko, stuff like that. The rest are pretty
But yeah, so
Kobeni.
Yua's
standard
is quite
actresses.
not yet. We haven't heard her yet. Well, actually we did in
Oh, yeah.
trailer, but
Yeah.
still. But yeah, so they've all been really good. And yeah, just the I don't know, just the whole cast is fun. I think the pacing is really nice. Doesn't really
Mhm.
overstay its welcome. And like I said, the style changes have been kind of the highlight in a way. Yeah, I just like a lot of the daydreaming scenes and what they're doing with that, and
Yeah.
sort of like the expanded cast stuff. I think the pets add just like a fun little part to the show too.
Mhm.
There's a lot to the series.
Honestly,
But
I'm looking more forward to like Pine Jam series ever after. Like they've had a pretty decent track record recently, I think, as far as like, setting up for audiovisuals and so on goes. So I'm kind of looking forward more to Pine Jam stuff recently, I think.
yeah, and I was
Um,
just trying to go through. I think the director, yeah, this director hasn't done a whole lot eitir. Just like small
mhm.
episode stuff
Yeah,
here and
this
there.
was like one of his first major projects where he was like the main director, if I remember
Yeah,
correctly.
it's like he Kageki Shoujo. And I don't know if it's he or she, but it's yeah, no, it's probably he, right? Yeah, Kazuhiro Yoneda. Um,
Yes.
but yeah, so like they had like recently Kageki Shoujo, but I think this is their first like original, if I'm not
Mhm.
mistaken, like complete anime original they're directing.
Okay.
And I can say so far, I've definitely enjoyed it the most out of their work. Again, I haven't hated their other stuff, but I think this has been the
Okay.
definitely like by and large the strongest showing they've had.
Right. Yeah, they've I think this director's worked on like a couple of like OVAs. I'm not sure. I
Well, they
don't
worked on
think
OVAs. They worked on their
I mean, he's
director. It looks like
directed a decent
for
amount of Pine Jam stuff. He did,
Tetsuya.
yeah.
Hozuki no Tetsu, second season, Gleipnir, Kageki Shoujo, and now
Yeah,
Do It Yourself.
yeah,
So,
do it yourself. Maho
decent
Yeah,
amount of
he probably scraped together a couple of the Gleipnir people from other Gleipnir people that were in Pine Jam as well. But he's been
probably.
also worked with some other studios. But yeah, this is one of his more major stuff. After I think Gleipnir and Hosuke no Reitetsu. Yes.
And
Yeah.
I think this is a for this like as the original as like an original. This is I think an strong showing in my opinion. Because like I
Alright.
said, especially the ability to spice up girls in the club doing things formula is something that not a lot of people are really doing. So
Right. You know, and
to
also
go out there and do that is interesting.
without turning it into like a full, like without having to spend half an episode being like, oh, what if I was going out with that girl, and like kind of the whole like Yuri bait kind of thing. You know what I
Yeah,
mean? And not
like
going
doing
into that.
it like literally using
It's
using
very
these things
wholesome.
like as a
Yeah.
spice to
Yeah.
the focus of girls in the club doing something
Yes.
is definitely like good. So
Yeah.
and also the character designs are cute. So
Yes. All right.
also what
Well.
is this Juliet Queen Elizabeth VII? No, ninth, eighth. Yeah, there you go.
Yes.
So that's another character we will be seeing soon.
Yes. Anyways,
So
thank you,
my
Dark.
last words is
Yes. Toast.
I can't believe this entire series is a JoJo reference.
God damn it. Toast.
You know
God
why,
damn it.
right? Remember part
Why?
5? That one dude on the truck? Remember his stand name?
Oh,
Arts and crafts. Ha ha ha
yeah.
ha.
Fucking
God damn it.
That's 2 JoJo
everything
references.
is JoJo.
Oh my god. Anyways, thank you, Dark, for helping to cover Do It Yourself. It is an anime original actually by Pine Jam Studios. Again, the studio who's been doing stuff like I think recently Gleipnir, or not recently, but it's like some of their more known works, stuff like Gleipnir. They did sort of the dual series where it's like Just Because and Tawa Getsuyobi no Tawa, right? They did that. A couple of others.
Oh wait, so is it better than Tawa? Because Tawa's pretty good.
I think that's very apples and oranges comparison. To be honest, Tao is very
Or
different
more
from
not
this.
apples and oranges, more like apples and watermelons. Get it? Get it?
Yes,
Ah.
I unfortunately do. But yeah, so that's again, do it yourself. Thank you very much, Dark, for helping cover this. And we are then off to the races with the news. We are going to a lot of the news right now, or I guess in the past 2 weeks, have been company and award related news. So I'm just going to run through them pretty quickly here. First off, a little bit of sobering piece of news here. The Mainichi Shimbun newspaper reported on Tuesday that Kadokawa chairman, by the way, Kadokawa being one of the major publishers and sort of distributors and main sort of almost like publishing conglomerates in a sense of uh, especially related to anime related material or mobile games or any whatnot, right? So Kadokawa chairman Kadokawa Tsukuhiko age 79, and intends to resign from the company. The Tokyo District Public Prosecutor's Office has indicted him earlier on Tuesday. Mainichi Shimbun stated it learned of the chairman's intention through its defense team. So the reason why he's resigning is he's resigning amid an indictment on charges of bribery. Kadakawa was arrested on September 14th on suspicion of bribing a former member of the Tokyo 2020 Summer Olympics Organizing Committee.
Nice.
Huh?
The
For
company is
what?
suspected of paying around 69 million yen, or about 480,000 US dollars, on a consultancy linked to Takahashi Haruyuki, who was arrested in August on suspicion of accepting bribes from companies to secure their sponsorship for the games. So,
Wow.
What?
Bit ironic.
yeah, it's yeah. So they want to be linked to the games. So that's why the guy related to the Olympic Games was trying to suck up money from these different companies. So obviously don't do bribes, kids, especially not like this guy, especially not for the Tokyo Olympic
Also,
Games stuff.
unfortunately, probably like most sane Japanese scandal.
Yeah, exactly. Let's see this. Oh, this next one is not. I don't know why I put this up here, but let's see this. Next one, the actual one I actually want to cover, the Harvey Awards, which honors outstanding work in comics and sequential art, awarded Fujimoto Tatsuki's Chainsaw Man with the Best Manga Award on Friday. This is second straight year that Chainsaw Man has won this award. I believe this is
Never
also the
Chainsaw
only
Man? Never
time.
heard of it.
Yeah, I believe this is the first time that the Harvey Awards has awarded a Japanese manga twice in a row, or like the same Japanese manga twice in a row, if I remember
Right.
correctly. Ever since it did get added in, I believe, manga started getting added in 2014, and then there was the specifically best manga category started up in 2018. But even since I believe 2014, Chainsaw Man is like the first one to win it twice in a row, I believe. Although Spy Family has been continually nominated, but it hasn't won apparently. It actually Chainsaw Man was actually competing against Spy Family as well as some others, but Spy Family did not win. So yeah, congratulations to Chainsaw Man, and obviously much more momentum as it continues to barrel through social media, right? Next on the news, the Japanese government's Agency of Cultural Affairs announced the winners of its film awards on September 20th. Illustrator and director Yasuhiko Yoshikazu will receive an award in the Film Lifetime Achievement category to honor his animation and character design work. Director of photography and animator Tamura Minoru will also receive receive a Lifetime Achievement Award. So, Yasuhiko related to much like older like series, pretty much at not at sort of the dawn of like really proper like animation creation, when things were beginning from like Adam Boyce transitioning into Space Battleship Yamato and stuff like that, and Gundam eras. He did Nozomi in the Sun. He did helped out with Mobile Suit Gundam. He was there when Space Battleship Yamato was big, and so on. So yeah, and congratulations to him. And last but not least, some numbers here. Apparently, the Pia Solkin Live Entertainment Research Company revealed on October 5th that anime-related live entertainment events, so these are sort of like anime song concerts centering around on anime voice actors and singers, right? So these would be like Konomi Suzuki or like Nana Mizuki or like Claris or like Lisa or whoever like going out and singing and stuff like that. Record our total market revenue of 12.1 billion yen, which is around 81 million US dollars from the period of January to December 2021. The number represents a nearly 200% increase from 2020's low of 4.1 billion yen. However, this is the low from the COVID years, the COVID era. How this 200% increase number, however, represents just under 50% of the 2019 market revenue of around 160 million US dollars prior to the COVID-19 pandemic. So hopefully it recovers a little bit more once the pandemic's properly out of the way. But that could probably take probably another year or two to probably properly abate. And even then, by then we might have a different environment on the surface. Like once we get out, because obviously there might be more virtual environments instead. So yeah. Anyways, that's it for the news, and we are coming up to our last corner in our shoutouts and callouts. Everybody here gets one shoutout and one callout each, and our shoutout, as per usual, or each person's shoutout, is something that you want to get 5 out of 5 stars. Cheer, cry, enjoy about, and jubilation. It can be any one person or thing. And a call out is the exact opposite 0 out of 5 rant, send a message to the boss, talk with the manager about something that you're extremely angry over, and it can be, again, any one person, place, or thing. And we will start off with Near. Shout out and call out, please.
Callouts, I guess, to Chainsaw Man.
Okay.
Never heard of it.
It's good. It's pretty good.
Shout out, right? Shout
Yeah,
out.
but why are you
Yeah,
calling
shout
it
out.
calling it out to
Did I say
call
call
out
out?
yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah,
well,
because you really want
was
to call
afraid-
out
I was afraid-
stealing all those movie scenes.
Yeah.
yeah, true. No, shout outs to Chainsaw Man. It's good. Believe it or not. Yeah. As for call outs, I mean, I'm probably gonna call out I haven't done this one in a while, so I'll just keep it consistent, right? I'm gonna call out Square Enix.
Squeenix.
Yeah, recently for Final Fantasy 14, they did a live letter, and they basically acknowledged that the game is incredibly unbalanced right now in terms of job balance. And essentially, what they said is we're not gonna do anything about it until the next major fucking patch, which doesn't
Very
why
cool.
like
Yes.
doesn't mean it doesn't make any fucking sense at all. Like they literally straight up acknowledge that the devs, the way they are fucking making the game right now is actively creating a disparity in the job balance. And then they immediately turn around and said, we're not going to do anything about it right now. Like, hello? What the fuck are you doing?
Well, you
Like,
wouldn't want to change the meta right in the middle of the
It's
tier,
so
would you?
dumb. It's so fucking dumb. Like, I don't know, man. I've never seen a dev actively acknowledge that they are ruining the game and then say that they're not going to change it right now. We'll do that later. It's like, what the fuck is wrong with you? It's just infuriating. But typical Square Enix shit.
All right. And so thank you, Nier, for your shout out and call out. Toast, what about
What?
you?
My shout out?
Yes.
I'm gonna shout out. What's it called? Man, what's it called? You know what? Instead, I'm gonna call out. You know what? I'm gonna call out. I hate concrete.
Because you had to
Hey,
cure it, right?
like
Or
2
whatever.
weeks. 2 weeks of concrete. I don't like that. What? Yeah.
Okay.
Screw that. I don't like it. Don't do it. Don't do it if you have to. Do it if you have to, but don't do it.
And your shout out?
I'm going to shout out. I'm going to shout out Samurai Vandalism. That's cool. I like that game.
Okay.
Yeah, especially the official doujin that came out of it. Apparently, that was cool. I guess
All right.
you
Pretty
should
good
play
then.
Samurai Vandalism, Spire. You might like it.
Uh, I don't know. I'll leave it to the Kagura game connoisseurs that are not myself to check those out. But anyways,
Wait, it's on
thank.
Conquer Games, is it?
Is
How did you
it?
know? Did you
Probably.
look it up? You pervert.
I
I mean,
literally just googled it. Yeah.
it's a
If you
1-1-1. It's a 1-1-1 game, so of course it's gonna get picked up by fucking Kagura Games, dude.
yeah.
You should check out the comic. There's apparently a comic. It's neat.
Anyways, thank you, Toast, for your shout and call out. Dark, your turn.
Oh boy. Um,
We have to
I
keep this
think,
under like yeah, 50
Yeah.
yeah, I
minutes.
mean,
Keep
speedrun
it
it.
brief,
I'm gonna
please.
shout out PSO2. Game been
Yes.
fun. Game's getting good additions.
Uh-huh.
You know, one day we'll catch up to base.
Lol.
And then I guess for my
Oh.
call out, probably you know, I'm gonna call out Hideki Kamiya because he's a little fucking dumb bitch. So you know,
Is that
doesn't
why
pay
you got Twitter
employees.
banned?
Yeah, I got Twitter banned because I called someone a stupid fuck.
Wait, has he really made has Hideki Kamiya really made 240,000 tweets? Is that a thing?
Probably
Holy
Dude,
he's
he
a Twitter
literally
master.
he literally tweets all day, every day.
Yeah,
It's
bro,
literally
is
all
he's
he
a-
does.
wrong with
Like,
that
but if
man?
he's such a
Jesus
Twitter
Christ.
master, how do you get fucking ratioed so hard today? What's that all about?
I don't know. Kind of confusing.
Oh my
Just a
god.
master at Twitter. That's why I fucking literally do the thing that anyone could have told me would have gotten me blown up on Twitter.
Yeah.
Such a master. But yeah, he should fucking pay his pay voice actors that work on his games.
Mhm.
Platinum Games should do that. They should probably offer more than $4,000 to the voice of their biggest IP's biggest character. You know,
Mhm.
that would make a lot of sense. For those not in
Yeah.
the know, Bayonetta's voice actress is now Jennifer Hale because the original voice actress was offered $4,000 to do everything, like the whole game, all of the work for $4,000.
Yeah,
And
that's a
that's
little bit.
criminally low,
Yes.
and not worth anyone's time. So instead, then they very clearly said wanted to do that to oust her and then get a big name like Jennifer Hale, who is
Mhm.
union, so they're definitely paying way more than $4,000 for the whole thing too. So they always had more than $4,000, and they just didn't want, you know, the original voice actor for their biggest character and their biggest IP. But you know, realistically,
unfortunate.
it's kind of crazy because their studio is probably going to go under. So
Yeah. All right. Well, thank you very much, Dark, for your shout out and call out. My shout out call out here. I guess I'll go with the shout out first. I guess my shout out is to August Studio, or I guess actually no, my shout out is to like all the actual like like good like indie not indie, but it's like smaller VTubers out there who are willing to spread the knowledge, spread good laughs and good cheer here and there. So shout outs to them. And my call out is honestly to Twitch and YouTube, who have like both platforms have been changing a lot of their monetary structure and policies and everything around very severely recently, just to to really squeeze as much money from people as possible and to really drive creators up the wall by making them do stuff. And it's a lot of it's reducing obviously the possible money that people can actually content creators can actually get from their stuff. And some of the content creators that I've seen have commented stuff like, my YouTube videos and the revenue I get from them have become literally just like 1/3 of what I used to get before. And obviously the Twitch end isn't much great either, because you've been seeing these tweets every day coming out about how Twitch is trying to force people to stream way more hours with more obnoxious amounts of ads for way less money and incentives. And It's just it's bad news all around, and it's gonna squeeze that way. It's gonna keep people up top are just gonna keep squeezing until something breaks, or there's another party that joins the fray, or something happens. So very
And so
unfortunate,
what
but
we're
fuck.
here to announce is we're here to announce daily 3-hour podcasts.
Yeah, yeah,
Really
daily
got to
three
hit our
hour
quota.
on
We really
on
got to hit our
on Daily Motion,
yeah.
and Nico.
No, on
And
Pretty
Twitch
sure.
because we need to hit our 150 hours this month.
yeah,
So
exactly. We're multicasting to Twitch, YouTube, Nico Doga, Open Rec, and also Daily Motion. So watch out for
yeah, we're
those.
gonna be running 3 hours of ads
Yeah,
as
exactly.
pre-roll.
For the
So
extra $45, baby.
yeah.
But yeah, so calls to them. They've been really fucking the pooch lately. But that's it, I think, for our callouts and shoutouts, or shoutouts and callouts. Although this time the callouts were a little bit more prominent. But yeah, we're going to be wrapping this up for today, and we're going to have, for this fall episode, or sorry, for this fall season, we're only going to have 3 additional episodes after this, because our plan is to have those 3 episodes, or yeah, 3 episodes. That's going to start leading up us up to the end of the fall season. We're going to do the winter preview season, and then we're gonna need to spend another episode doing our end of the year slash end of the year awards podcast. Which is always a great fun time of the year. So because we have those 2 special episodes, we are only going to unfortunately have 4 uh, podcast episodes. So if you guys do have any specific series that you guys want one of us to cover, please do let us know on our Twitter page or Facebook or wherever. But just comment on the YouTube below. So yeah, that's it for our podcast. And if you do like what we do, we stream our podcasts live every other Saturday starting from 10 p.m. Eastern Standard Time over at twitch.tv/4PlayerAnimecast. That's with the numeral 4, where we talk about the latest and greatest in Japanese animation media, anime, manga, light novels, web novels, visual novels, and so much more. So you can check us out here on our Twitch page, where we again record it, and we have it stored in highlights, so you can follow us here whenever we go live. So you can click a follow, and again, obviously view the VODs as well. We have it on YouTube format. Follow us all over on there. We're gonna push up. We push up all our VODs, and probably gonna get some shorts over it soon, so you can see some of our more interesting moments up close and quickly on whenever convenient. And because YouTube loves shorts for some reason, so please check us out there. Follow us there as well, or subscribe on YouTube as well for the latest VODs and highlights. Check us up on our social media on Twitch, or sorry, on Twitter at 4PlayerAnimecast, again, all with the numeral 4, as well as on Facebook, 4PlayerAnimecast. So follow us on there for more updates and information. So check us out here, check us out there, and as always, we'll see you next time.